Chiefs football.
Touchdown, Kansas City!
Deep left field, way gone into the bleachers. A two-run homer for Bobby Witt Jr.
Watch The Drive by subscribing on our YouTube channel or listen on demand with the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
This show is always going to stand on principles. Dippin' Dots are incredible. Red Lobster is the best restaurant that America has to offer, and baked beans are trash.
You're listening to Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan. Here's C-Dot.
All right, let's do this. Another day, another dollar, another edition of The Drive. Shout out to the other place. All right. In about 10 minutes, we are going to be joined by Jeff Allen. We're going to have a couple of former Chiefs join us to talk about Eric Bieniemy and the press conference that you just heard. If you missed it, it was the introductory press conference for Eric Bieniemy meeting with the Kansas City media, and it was a lot of love to be had. The Chiefs had a lot of success with Eric Bieniemy as their offensive coordinator, and the Chiefs are obviously hoping to continue that success with his return. It is very interesting that I would say right now the text line is very much split on what they heard, but limited sample size. I don't want to read too much into it. Rob, I want to run these couple of thoughts by you before Jeff Allen joins us on the show. I thought that this press conference was, if you are looking for reasons to love the hire, I thought the reasons were apparent. I think if you were looking at reasons to criticize or be on the opposite side of the hire, I feel like they were both there. And I think that both sides have very valid points in this, and that's why I think it's been such a good debate, talking point back and forth. But I think there are some things that regardless of what side you are on, you should be able to meet these things. A couple of days ago, I was following a conversation on social media, and the conversation on social media was about Taylor Swift. And the conversation about Taylor Swift was around this. She is not the greatest singer that we have ever heard. She is not the greatest dancer that we have ever seen. What makes her so popular as an entertainer and a performer? And I was going through the comments and I was reading what people were saying, and I was just really intrigued by it. I'm not a Swiftie by any means, but I know a couple of the songs. They're catchy. And I thought the answer is very, very obvious with Taylor Swift. Despite not being a great singer, in my opinion, despite not being a great dancer, in my opinion, Taylor Swift has figured out the ability to make catchy songs that people want to sing along to, which is very important in music. And Taylor Swift has also figured out a way to connect into people's emotions and tap into how they feel. If you have a Swiftie in your life, ask them why they love her music so much, and I think they're going to confirm this to you. She is speaking my life and my existence in a way that I've never been able to explain, and she has been able to tap into my emotion, and that is a superpower within itself. I think Eric Bieniemy was telling you what his superpower is and also what he struggles with and why his career in some ways has not matured to the level that he wants it to mature. I think it is very obvious listening to Eric Bieniemy talk that he has a great ability to be able to talk to some of the greatest football players that we have ever seen and criticize them and coach them and critique them in a way that is very hard and strict, but also clearly comes from a place of love and respect. That's a real difficult balance that a lot of people are unable to master, but I think you can hear it in EB. EB can get on you, he can yell at you, he can put you down, but he has the ability to do so in a way that you know that it is coming from a very, very good place. I would say that we have a warped view of what we think football coaches should be. We love for football coaches to yell at guys, and in some way we want it to be this like army concept and this military. It's very odd how we want football coaches to be. We love when they yell at them and scream at them and grab their face mask and look like Coach Kilmer from Varsity Blues. But there has to be a measure of love there in order for it to be successful, in my opinion. There has to be a measure of respect that has to be there. And I thought you could hear it in his voice, the way that he talked about Patrick, the way that he talked about Travis Kelce, the way that he said, everywhere I go, people ask me about these two people. I love him. It's been great to see him grow, and I want to continue to be a part of that journey. I thought you could hear that in his voice and how he described those two individuals and how he looked back at his time in Kansas City. I also think you could hear what the limitations were. Now, it was a brief part of the press conference, but he was asked about some of the criticism that I have. Hey, you called plays in other places. Tell us about it. And he said, hey, when I'm in charge, I realize the creativity that is necessary and the problem solving that is in it and what you need to do. And he glossed over it, but we might disagree on the why. He failed at that part of it. He had 2 offensive coordinator jobs before this year. You had an offensive coordinator job for Washington. It failed. You then got another chance to do it with UCLA, and it failed. The league is telling you, regardless if you want to see it or not, they don't think that's your strength. Some people were not meant to be the lead singer of a group. That doesn't mean you can't have a successful music career. You weren't made to be Beyonce. You weren't made to be Justin Timberlake, and that's cool. Somebody's got to be Lance Bass. Somebody's got to be JC. Somebody's got to be Kelly Rowland. And I think that he is telling you, through my journeys, through everything that I've experienced in my football life, I've started to really find what I'm really good at, what I'm really passionate in, and what I'm really comfortable with. And him being a position coach / motivational speaker / keep guys accountable / all of those things, I think he has really assumed that role and embraced it in a way that I'm not sure if he did 4 or 5 years ago. I think his eye was always looking toward the possibility of being a head coach. At some point, I think you got to wake up and smell the coffee and realize that that is not going to happen for you. I don't care what success the Chiefs have with him as the offensive coordinator in this part 2. I don't think that Eric Bieniemy will ever be a hotter candidate than he was a couple of years ago. I don't think he is ever going to get another realistic chance at being a head coach. Maybe somebody hires him to call the plays and they give him another chance at that, and he can kind of, again, have sort of head coach of one side of the football responsibilities. But I think that time is also coming to a close with EB. So I think in a lot of ways, I think this press conference, if you are pro the hire the way that Rob is, I think that he gave you a bunch of reasons to feel really excited about it. I mean, that guy's coming back. You can hear the energy. You can hear the enthusiasm that he has for the job. You can hear the respect that he has in that locker room, that guys are going to listen to him. He can also point back to my accomplishments. Look at what I've done. Look at the guys who I've helped. So when you go to a Bashard Smith and you tell Bashard Smith what he needs to do to be a better running back in this league, that's a guy that needs to listen. And if he doesn't listen to you, I don't know if his career can truly flourish in the ways that it could potentially flourish. I also thought that you heard in this press conference, I thought he said it without saying it, why it hasn't really worked anywhere else and why he hasn't maybe had the success that you would think based on his resume, and just maybe this is who he is. And you just got to be fine with that. He's cool with being a number 2 / number 3 receiver. Maybe he won't be Mike Evans. Man, you could be Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin's a really good receiver in the NFL. I think you heard a little bit of that come out in this press conference. All in all, I don't think you ever really get anything dynamic from these press conferences. It was a welcome back, love fest, EB, we're happy to have you here, celebratory kind of mood. You're not getting hard-hitting journalism out of these things. But I do think you could hear the love that EB has for Andy Reid, the love that he has for the organization, the vision that I think he has for what his role is and what he needs to do, and also the love and respect that he has for Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. And that is a major reason of why he got hired. I don't think you heard from that press conference that this was really a process. I don't really think it was a process. I think Andy Reid was taking a look at what he thought his team needed and what his team was lacking, realized that EB was an important part of that, and I think that they zeroed in very early on who their offensive coordinator was going to be. I think it was communicated through back channels. We want you back, and this is an upgrade from the job that you have, and EB sounded very, very happy to come back. That man drove from Chicago to be here. I don't know why they couldn't get you on the plane. I don't know why they couldn't get you a little Spirit flight. I don't know why they couldn't get you a Southwest flight. That man drove from Chicago to Kansas City in January, and I know the weather is not great wherever you are in the Midwest right now. That man really wants to be here. So salute to him. Good job to him. Congratulations to him. And I hope that it works. I mean, this is not what I would have done. I've told you guys that over the course of the last couple of weeks, but that does not mean that I am not pulling for this to work and hopeful that it can work. And more than anything, this is Andy Reid continuing to say to all of us, I got this. I know what I'm doing. And history says that you should trust him. History says that you should believe him. Well, all right, the proof is in the pudding. Go out there and get this thing back on track and get back to winning at a high level the way that you have over the last 7 or 8 years. Let's head to the phone lines right now to be joined by a friend of the show, Jeff Allen, former Chiefs offensive lineman. He played under Eric Bieniemy. Jeff, man, happy to have you on the show today, my man.
Carrington, how you doing today, my guy? I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely, man. Happy to have you on here. Let's just start with this. What is it like to play for Eric Bieniemy?
It's amazing. I know a lot of people have some takes with him, but I think anybody that's ever played for him, majority of guys love the guy. He's obviously an old school type of guy, hard coaching, but at the same time, he shows love. That's why you can appreciate it, because he's going to be him no matter who he's dealing with. You know, some guys, they have a certain style depending on the player they're dealing with. He's going to hold everybody accountable, so you can appreciate it.
Jeff, how appreciated is that in the locker room, that characteristic, that trait that you're talking about? Because we were just mentioning this during the press conference. I think you can hear that EB is going to be tough on guys and hold you accountable, what you just alluded to. But I also think you could hear that EB does it from a place of love and respect that I think players respond really well to.
Yeah, without a doubt, in the locker room, I think in the heat of the battle, sometimes, you know, we're all competitors, right? And, you know, when you're being held accountable, whether it's a coach or a player, when you make a mistake, sometimes it isn't taken well in the moment. But when you can take a step back, take a breath, you realize, like, hey, this person only wants what's best for me. EB is one of those types of guys that's going to be, I call him a realist. He's going to be realistic with you. He's going to tell you what you do well. He's going to also tell you what you don't do well. And you can appreciate that as a professional. And the only way that you get better is working on the things that you aren't great at. And it's hard to have hard conversations. That's leadership. And he doesn't have a problem with having those conversations. That's why he's so special in my mind.
Right now, we're talking to Jeff Allen, former Chiefs offensive lineman, getting his thoughts on Eric Bieniemy. Jeff, on a day-to-day basis, what would you say EB's role is? I know that Andy is sort of the mastermind of things. What would you say is EB's role? How did he help the offense?
He's a get back on track type of guy. He's always going to find the right thing to say in the right moment, and he's going to motivate you. I think one of the things that people don't realize is it's those characteristics that you can't quite put your finger on. There aren't any really statistics that you can put behind it. I mean, obviously he had a tremendous amount of success being the offense coordinator with the Chiefs, but those aren't just the number of things that make him great. It's the things that he does behind the scenes and saying the right things at the right time, whether it's to another coaching staff or player, and motivating guys and getting them back on track.
Jeff, are you surprised that he's never been given an opportunity to be a head coach?
Yeah, I'm 100% surprised by that. Obviously I'm not in those meetings. I don't know his performance in those interviews. But obviously we all see what he's done when he's had the opportunity to be offense coordinator. It wasn't happening for him in Kansas City, getting those opportunities. He did what he felt was best for his career. He went off on his own, and he still didn't get the opportunity for whatever reason. But, you know, as a Chiefs fan and as somebody that roots for Eric Bieniemy, I'm happy he's back with the Chiefs, and, you know, maybe something happens in the future.
Right now, we're talking to Jeff Allen, former Chiefs offensive lineman, talking about the hiring of Eric Bieniemy. I guess a couple of questions here, I guess, with a why kind of tone. Let's start with this. Why do you think things didn't work for Matt Nagy? I know that the team had success, but if you look at the offensive numbers and what they were able to accomplish, certainly not up to the standard that you would assume when you have a Hall of Fame tight end and a Hall of Fame quarterback and some of the other weapons. Why do you think the offense didn't work necessarily with Matt Nagy?
Man, I mean, obviously I wasn't in the locker room at the time, but I mean, from the outside looking in, I just think we weren't really efficient at running the ball. I know you can say that the year prior to that we were, but last year we didn't run the ball very well, or we didn't lean on it the way that we should have with certain schemes. I mean, obviously the strength of our offensive line is the interior. We've had some injuries last year, so kind of had to figure things out, and I think it was a constant trying to find the identity last year versus knowing what we do well. And that was because of injuries, in my opinion.
That's the thing that I really stress the most about this. And as you watch football this year, To me, the league changed. I feel like 5 years ago, we just treated running back like anybody could do it. You didn't have to spend any money in free agency on running back, didn't have to spend any premium pick on running back. Anybody could kind of do it. I think the league has shifted over the last couple of years, and you're starting to see teams invest money in free agency. You're starting to see teams invest draft picks at running back and free agency. Like, you're starting to see the value a lot more just treated a lot better now than they were in years past. And now that you're kind of watching the Chiefs, they kind of let that go a little bit. And I thought the problem with the offense this past year is they were just asking Pat to do everything. There was a stretch there in those first 6 games. He was their leading rusher. And that's just not the way that I think this offense can really work if Pat has to take off as much as they did. So one thing I am excited about, I think this was going to happen whether EB was the offensive coordinator or not. This team has to have more balance and just an ability to run the football that they haven't really the last 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, it opens up the offense. I mean, historically, if you look at Andy Reid and his offenses, he doesn't, from a volume standpoint, he didn't run the ball a lot historically. Over the last few years, I think he's leaned more toward the run than he has prior years, but now he needs a guy that's versatile. I mean, we had Jamal when I was there, did a lot with him, out the backfield, running the ball, catching the ball. I think we need a versatile guy, but most importantly, we need a guy that can set up some blocks with some vision and the home run ability. You know, maybe turn a drive from a 12, 14-play drive into an 8-play drive. That not only saves your offense and keeps you fresh, it also helps the coordinator. You don't have to call as many plays, but you can score faster.
I was going to ask you that same thing, I guess, in regard to the Chiefs and this season. What do you think went wrong? I've been using the analogy. It's kind of like the movie Meet the Parents. If you remember, I mean, basically from the beginning of the movie, everything Greg tried to do just went terribly wrong for the next 2 hours. I feel like with this Chiefs team, and basically from game one, Xavier Worthy got hurt, Rashee Rice got suspended, Josh Simmons was gone for a while, the quarterback got hurt at the end of the year. Like, almost anything you can envision that could go wrong for a football team this year, it just happened in some capacity with the Chiefs.
100%. You also have to think about not just the players, you know, things that you can't control with injuries, but there were a couple bad breaks, whether it were calls or just, you know, things that weren't ordinary for the Chiefs that went the opposite way. With some of those games that came down to a wire that we normally pull out, we just didn't get it done, whether it be because of the lack of third down production and keeping the drive going, or, you know, we give up a big play defensively on third down. It just were a lot of things that just didn't go our way.
Jeff, as we are heading towards free agency, what would you like to see this team really start to highlight? What's something you want to see them do?
Definitely I want to see – selfishly, offensive guy, I want to see a running back. I mean, that's what I'm hoping for. But I do know that we need some pass rush, and definitely situational pass rush. You know, those times where on defense where we gave us some third downs, if you have a guy that can wreak havoc, whether you get a sack or create a pressure that stops that from being converted, that gives the offense another opportunity. So I would say running back one for me, but realistically, I think we need another pass rusher.
Yeah, I'm looking at Breece Hall and the contract, and to me, I mean, if you're telling me day one of free agency, the Chiefs signed Breece Hall to the contract that James Cook signed with Buffalo, I think that's a really good deal for both sides. He's that versatile back you're talking about that can catch the ball out of the backfield. And then financially, I mean, if you really look at the James Cook deal, that's not a bad contract at all, especially for the kind of player that we're talking about. If you're asking me right now, my offseason wish list, Breece Hall would probably be number one from a free agent standpoint.
I agree, and I think he fits the scene well. He's a very patient runner. I think his number one quality that people don't realize is his vision. He sets up blocks extremely well, and he has the home run ability. I wouldn't classify him as a speedster, but he has enough speed to take it to the house. So I would love that pickup. I think we need a running back, whether it's the draft or free agency, but we're going to need a running back.
Jeff, I'll get you out of here with this, man. You got a thriving business. Tell people about it.
Yeah, man. Me and my wife, we started a company called Cookie Society, COOKIE Society, SOCIETY. You can visit us at cookiesociety.com. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X. You can get them shipped directly to you, or you can stop at one of our 5 locations in the DFW market.
Jeff, I might have to get some of these for the big game coming up. I might have to go ahead and walk into the party with a cookie from Cookie Society.
Yes, sir. They're the best cookies on the earth. And I tell people all the time, man, I didn't get this big on accident.
That is Jeff Allen joining us on the show. Former Chiefs offensive lineman. You can always follow him online. Jeff, man, we love having you on the show, man. We'll catch up with you once free agency gets going.
Thank you, Carrington. Y'all have a good one. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. That is Jeff Allen joining us on the show. He played for Eric Bieniemy. Happy to get his thoughts. Our guy, Mitchell Schwartz, is going to join us in studio. He also played for EB. We'll get his thoughts coming up in just a bit. Rob, you have been a big proponent of this move. You were very much in favor of it. What did you think of the press conference?
I actually think you summed up the press conference in a perfect way, because sitting back here, now I was sitting back here making video clips. There were things happening back here more than just me sitting there locked in. But the one thing I heard was a guy who is passionate to get back, and he did mention, hey, he was asked, I believe by Nick Jacobs, and if it wasn't him, I apologize. He was asked about, hey, what'd you learn under Ben Johnson? Like, he runs a very unique run scheme. How can you implement that in Kansas City? He talked about, you have to take what you learned there and implement what you can here. But what I've learned over time is take bits and pieces from everywhere and try to work, make it into one thing. He talked about his shortcomings as an offensive coordinator other places and his goal to be head coach, and that he other places learned that just because it works in Kansas City doing it this way doesn't mean it works in Washington or UCLA that way. He sounded like a guy who understood his flaws as a coach, but is excited to be back in the building with a renewed energy and passion. And hopefully, I'm not talking new and fresh, like he's going to be like, here's some air raid ideas, but he has some different Ben Johnson schematic thoughts that cannot overhaul the Chiefs offense, but can be implemented to improve an already existing offense. Because I think when we talk about this offense, too often we're like, well, it was bad in 2025, and it was. But it wasn't all that bad in 24, and it wasn't bad in 22. It's not that far removed from being good. So I'm hoping, and I heard a guy who wants to come in and implement some new and rejuvenate what is already existing.
Coming up at the top of the hour, Mitchell Schwartz is going to join us in studio. We'll get his thoughts on Eric Bieniemy. We'll also get his thoughts on the top story in the National Football League. Bill Belichick is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. I said that we were not talking about K-State. Rob tells me we have to. We'll get to it next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FRESH to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
That's another amazing run by Team USA.
Mom, think I'll be on Team USA one day?
Well, I'll take this one.
What? Are you speaking to us?
Yes, and to answer your question, anything's possible, especially with Xfinity.
So, I can be the best snowboarder ever?
Well, I can't guarantee that, but Xfinity can guarantee that your internet price won't change for 5 years.
Okay. What if I practice every day?
Then maybe you'll be snowboarding for Team USA at the next Olympic Winter Games. And Mom, you'll still be paying the same price for Wi-Fi.
Ooh, really stuck the landing there.
It's the Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get our best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed, just $50 a month. Plus, get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. That's a $10.99 value per month. Xfinity. Imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary.
Sadly, football season is coming to a close, but it's the last call for football on FanDuel. One final Sunday. One last kickoff. The final chance to place your bets before the NFL season closes its tab. This is Super Bowl 60, and FanDuel is making sure you're in on it. If you're a new customer, bet $5 and get $2,000 in bonus bets if you win. So whether you're backing the favorite, riding with the underdog, or building one last same-game parlay, make it count. Because after the Super Bowl, the season's over and football is done. Last call for football on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. Visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and President, Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
Midwest, winter 2026, Airman. Say, how's that utility bill? Even your level payment plan seems like it's tilting uphill? But wait, Airman here with some good news to re-level the playing field. Midwest Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing is now offering up to $1,400 in rebates on qualifying Lennox home comfort systems. But hold on, there's more. Midwest is also stepping up with 60 months 0% financing with approved credit. And the newest Lennox systems produce air that is more pure, run quieter, and are significantly more efficient. So much so that your new lower utility bill will seem like a late Christmas present. $1,400 rebate and 60 months at 0%. Now that's more like it. Go to MidwestHeating.com or dial 943-8787 for details. And as so many of your neighbors have for the past 7 decades, trust your air to the best. Midwest Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Spreadsheets, clunky software, 100 different logins just to run your business? Ah.
There's a better way. Odoo. One simple, connected platform that handles sales, inventory, accounting, and more, so you can focus on growing, not juggling. Make the switch today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
This afternoon, expect sunny skies with a high of 34.
Weather brought to you by Staples. 2026 is here, and at Staples, deals mean business. Like up to $100 off custom print orders. Head into the new year looking good for less. Staples. That was easy. Ends 1/31.
When severe weather hits, tune in to 98.1 KMBZ for Operation Stormwatch. Brought to you by Century Roofing. Proudly voted the #1 roofing company in all of Kansas City. CenturyRoofingKC.com. Subscribe to 96.5 The Fan on YouTube to watch the show from wherever you are.
All right. Rob tells me that we can't just not talk about K-State the rest of the way. I said, let's do it. Rob stepped in as the executive producer of this show and also the associate program director and said, you can't just not talk about one of the teams. I was like, all right. Well, I said, if you want us to talk about them, you got to bring me the news. And Rob, he got giddy in a way. You're saying, wait, I just got to find negative stories about K-State and we'll talk about them. I was like, I guess. It's February. It's late January, early February. I don't know how many positive stories there's going to be, but if you got some, bring them. He was like, okay, fine. Day one of the task. I don't even know why Rob is listening to K-State fan podcasts. This is what you do in your free time? Why is Rob listening to the Three Mall podcast, just scouring for K-State content? But he was. Friend of the show, Derek Young. We like Derek Young. He said this on the Three Mall podcast about Jerome Tang.
Staring down the barrel of a third straight missed NCAA tournament, which is exactly what happened with Bruce Weber that ultimately got him fired. So I understand the conversation, but if there's a buyout there that can't be negotiated down, like if they truly want to do it, it requires $18.7 million. I just don't think that's financially responsible in this climate where K-State is already really, really tightly strapped when it comes to the financial limitations and the budgets and everything like that, because you have to pay the players. You're still operating everything the way you did before. You just hired a new football coach, a new coaching staff that also wants resources to win at the highest level. So if it requires $18.7 million to do it, I just think that's financially irresponsible at the moment.
I'm not here to disagree with K-State people about the money they have or don't have. I'm really not here to disagree. I don't know. I don't keep up with it enough. I don't know how your NIL funds looking like. I don't know. Those are not questions that I ask other people. I'm not that invested in what's going on. I'm just going to tell you the perception is you guys aren't a serious basketball program then. If you're telling me that this guy can miss the tournament for 3 consecutive years, make the tournament in the first year with his best player that was a holdover from the last regime, if you're telling me that guy's allowed a 5th year, okay. Who am I to argue with you guys? If you guys are looking forward to another 15-18 basketball team that's going to finish in 13th place in the Big 12 next year, I mean, who am I to tell you that you're wrong? I can't want it for K-State basketball if you guys can't want it. So I get it. If having a 9-win football team that you guys have, and maybe next year winning the Big 12, going to the college football playoff, if that's what's keeping you away from doing what's right by your basketball program and fielding a competitive team that you guys can get behind and feel passionate about and believe in, I mean, who am I to tell you differently? That's fine. You guys lost again last night, lost to West Virginia. You guys been getting beat like a rug. Been getting beat like a drum so far in Big 12 play. If that's what you guys want, okay, cool. I'm here to support that.
Are we going to have a conversation about Gene Taylor? Because where is K-State's money? I know K-State doesn't have
Avery Johnson, it sounds like. It sounds like Avery Johnson is so expensive that I don't know how you can do anything else when you're paying Avery Johnson this much money.
Apparently, I know they're not Texas Tech. I mean, Texas Tech is just, they have crazy money. But you're telling me people in Manhattan are so broke that they can't afford to pay Jerome Tang to go away the same year they hired Colin Klein?
That's what he's selling.
We had Tim Fitzgerald on the show Friday, and he said Jerome Tang has a group of boosters in Kansas City that basically just funded this year's team through NIL. You can't
What a terrible ROI.
You can't call them if you're Gene Taylor and say, hey, you know that terrible investment you made? Why don't you give me some money? I'll run him out of town, and we can get a real coach in here. Where'd all the money go in Manhattan? Why has the well run dry? I mean, they're on television. I don't get it. How are they broke?
You think that purple Corvette just pays for itself? That's what you think? Where do you think that purple Corvette comes from?
Didn't he get rid of the Corvette because it was too flashy?
Didn't they go 6-6 last year? Y'all not getting good return on any investment right now. You got an average football team and a bad basketball team, and you telling me we ain't got no money? I'd be mad if I was a K-State booster. One thing I will say Jerome Tang's really good at, he's really good at this. He's really good at coming up with excuses on why they stink at basketball. He's the Bill Self of coming up with excuses.
You know, as the head coach of this program, the CEO of it, to put together a team and build a program that will be on that level year in and year out. And I ain't figured that out yet because they keep changing the rules on me, right? Once they get the rules set, right, then I can have a consistent plan, because there are 3 guys that should be on my roster right now that are not on my roster because the rules changed, okay? And that's not even the guys who are injured, okay? So if they will give me consistent rules, then I know how to move forward and operate. And
Jerome, I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm sorry, I really am. Nobody has consistent rules. It's not like K-State's the only team playing by this, and Kansas and Arizona and Texas Tech have different rules. No. They have the same rules that you have. Yet they are figuring out ways to make it work. You are not figuring out ways to make it work. So, okay. I'm not here to argue with K-State fans. You can text, be mad, put me on I'm not here to argue with you guys. If you guys don't have the money to pay off your basketball coach, okay, I don't know what to tell you then. You guys aren't making the tournament next year. We shouldn't take you seriously next year if you guys can't come up with the funds. I'm telling you this, your football team better make the playoff. That's what you're telling me. You're telling me that you can't do this because of our football program. Well, y'all better be really good at football. You better be amazing at football next year, because you guys this year were not amazing at football, and your basketball team stinks, and now you're telling me you ain't got enough money to do both. Okay, so be good. One more college basketball thought before Mitchell Schwartz. Missouri might also have to go on this list of why are we talking about you? Why are we discussing you? Why do you come up? Why should I spend any time in our pre-show meetings coming up with Missouri basketball topics? You have given us no reason to talk about you. Every time we do talk about you, right around the corner, embarrassment is soon to follow. had a great win this weekend against Oklahoma. We should have known when you needed 2 buzzer beaters to beat one of the 3 worst teams in the SEC, that was not a good sign. But I was hopeful. I was optimistic. Trent Pierce, bang. Mark Mitchell, bang. You don't get the double bang. Missouri ain't never went double bang before. I'm thinking, all right, hey, you know what? I thought they were going to lose, but let's just keep it close. Let's just keep it competitive. They can't do that against Alabama. They can't do that. They're not making the tournament. They're just a waste of time. They're just mid. Missouri's not great. Missouri's not good. Missouri's not trash. They're just mid is what they are. They're the definition of an average basketball team. I'm not here to spend a lot of you guys' time talking about average. I'm really not. Either you need to be great, you need to be disappointing like the Chiefs, you got to be a top 4 seed like we think KU could be. Just come on now. I can't do it. You got to give me something to work with here. You really got to give me something. Or it's just coming up with more Eric Bieniemy topics. You guys got to give me something. You're not giving me anything. K-State, you're not giving us anything to talk about. Missouri basketball, you're giving us no content for the year. This is why we talk like, oh, why do you guys talk so much Kansas basketball? They're the only team doing something. I don't want to sit here and talk about Melvin Council all day, but you're giving me no choice. There ain't nothing else happening right now. You think we're going to start breaking down the Super Bowl today? This is the biggest spread in 15 years in the Super Bowl. Nobody thinks one of the teams can win.
I don't know about you guys, but I am psyched the drive is now Darren Peterson Central. Ain't nothing else to talk about in February. Royals have an outfielder? Nope. Chiefs have a draft yet? Darren Peterson playing basketball, though. Hey, you know what? It's too bad Mitchell Schwartz coming in. Because we could talk about how me and you watched the highlights today. Do you know that Darren Peterson in high school dropped 58 on A.J. DeBansta?
All right, you're taking it too far.
That'll be the lead tomorrow.
I don't want to talk
about that. Make a note. That's the lead tomorrow.
We're not talking about that. Not at all. We're not talking about that. Not on this show.
58 and a game winner.
Not at all. I can't wait to be off on Friday. Get away from you. You think on Friday I'm spending my whole day talking about a KU home basketball game? Absolutely not. I can't wait to not be here on Friday. Coming up on the other side, we got Mitchell Schwartz joining us in studio. He played under EB. We'll get his thoughts. That's coming up. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter.
Hi, I'm Michael from the War and Treaty. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. Only Novo Nordisk makes FDA-approved Ozempic. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guide and to learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5 milligram, 1 milligram, and 2 milligrams.
Spreadsheets, clunky software, 100 different logins just to run your business?
There's a better way. Odoo. One simple, connected platform that handles sales, inventory, accounting, and more, so you can focus on growing, not juggling. Make the switch today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon. Hello? You won't believe where I am. Are you running? Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus, 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing. Mom, how do you feel? I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture. And then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with autopay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon.
Hello?
You won't believe where I am.
Are you running?
Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus, 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing. Mom, how do you feel? I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture. And then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with autopay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
The new era of UFC on Paramount Plus continues with UFC 325 live from Australia. Catch featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski in a rematch of his epic title fight against Diego Lopez, and the always dangerous Dan Hooker throws down with dynamic finisher Benoit Saint Denis in a high-action lightweight showdown. UFC fans, pay-per-view just got knocked out. Catch UFC 325 on Saturday, January 31st, only on Paramount Plus. Stream every fight live with one subscription. Visit ParamountPlus.com/UFC to get started.
What if your instincts could pay off? With Robinhood Prediction Markets, you could put your sports IQ to work on the games you know best. It's not you against the house. It's you participating in a live market. Buy or sell your predictions all game long. Trade every play with Robinhood. Visit Robinhood.com/predict. That's Robinhood.com/predict. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
Hey Royals fans, it's Vern. I'll be broadcasting live from Royals Rally on Saturday, January 31st, starting at 9 a.m. as I sit down with the biggest names in the organization before they head off to spring training. This is your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
96.5 The Fan. KFNC FM and AM. HD1 and HD2 Kansas City. An Odyssey Sports Station.
It's been a long time since we've had our next guest in studio, former All-Pro, Super Bowl champion. Mitchell Shorts joins us in studio. Mitch, how you doing, man?
Survived the storm.
Man, it's cold outside. Saturday, it was as cold as I've been in a very long time. It's been as cold as it was that Chiefs and Dolphins game a couple of years ago. It was that cold this past weekend.
Yeah, funny enough, I was taking the trash cans out, I forget, a couple days ago, the other day, and I was thinking to myself, I'm glad I didn't have to play that game because I am freezing just walking the trash cans down the driveway. So, yeah, I did think about that game during the storm.
So a lot of things to talk to you about, man, since the last time you've been on here. Let's start with this. You played under Eric Bieniemy. How excited are you? What do you make of the news that he is returning as the Chiefs offensive coordinator?
I would say it's not surprising news. I think it's interesting kind of seeing the reaction to it because I feel like for the last few years it's a lot of we don't like Nagy and Bieniemy was better, the numbers were better, all these different things, and then he brings Bieniemy back and there's a little bit of, you know, we don't necessarily love this move and wanted to get some fresh blood, all those things. So I think within the parameters of what was realistic, it's a great hire. Again, you're talking about one of the best head coaches of all time, a guy who's been the offensive coordinator, the play caller, the mastermind for his whole career, one of the best ever to do that as well. He deserves to choose how he wants this year to be, whether he wants to be the guy in charge and to, you know, take full control and figure it out the way he's changed his playbook and figured out, you know, pretty much everything else the rest of his career, or whether he wanted to just be like, you know what, I'm tired of this. I want to, give the reins to someone younger, maybe one of the Shanahan McVay guys, and I'm just going to kind of go into that CEO mode. Obviously, to me, this signals that he's choosing to take full control of the offense and to do what he thinks is necessary to change it. So within those parameters, I think it's a great hire. I've been vocal about, wanting someone like Mike McDaniel. I thought he would have been perfect, great for the modern era of football, what the league's kind of trending towards. But again, I think coach has definitely earned and deserves the right to choose how he wants to fix it. And it seems like he's deciding, like, this is my team, this is my offense, this is my quarterback, and we're going to figure it out together.
One of the things that I've said, and I'm kind of go through this list of things, I know that you and I are on slightly different sides, at least when it comes to this hire and what it means and what it symbolizes, is a question I ask is, would Andy Reid in 2026 hire Andy Reid that was starting out? Because Andy Reid, when he was starting out, was an offensive line coach and then moved up to quarterback coach. And then eventually Mike Holmgren was like, hey, you should be the offensive coordinator. And we saw what that turned into. And he had a great head coaching career. So I'm with you. I wanted the Chiefs to kind of look for that late 30s, early 40s, rising star type. And we've seen that if you work under Andy Reid, if you do a couple of years, you can turn that into a head coaching job. That's the direction that I wanted them to go down. And one thing that upsets me a little bit is, and I'm sure you see this on social media too, I feel like the theme from everybody was, we want new, we want different, we want change. Well, their first move of the offseason is bringing back the old offensive coordinator. They're not off to a good start if you want a new, different, and change. And I wanted them to at least cast a little bit wider net to find that next OC. And it just doesn't sound like that's the direction that they went down.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they brought in a wide receiver coach who's been outside of the Reed tree for the last 20 years and has been in New England, which is a very different offense stylistically. So that was the first hire. If you want to go first moves of the offseason, he fired a bunch of coaches and, a bunch of guys left. So there is a lot more turnover than we typically see from, a Coach Reed system. I think to bring in the young guy and kind of hire him to be an offensive coordinator, I think the thing with Coach Reed is he was hired without ever being a coordinator, so that's not necessarily the best analogy. If you bring in one of those young guys and hire him, what is that person bringing you with Coach Reed still as the play caller and offense designer that a guy like Bieniemy is not bringing you? Because, again, this is the argument, is he's going to bring some of Ben Johnson's stuff to the table. He's going to bring some tweaks and some alterations and some new and fresh ideas. It's not like he's just been, under Coach Reed this whole time the last few years. So I don't know what a younger guy would bring to the table that a guy like Bieniemy wouldn't, who's now been in one of the top offenses in the NFL, totally different system, way different emphasis, a lot of different coaching points, been exposed to, all these different things, college and pro. So I don't understand that argument, again, within the parameter that this is Reed's team, his offense, and he's going to be the one designing it and calling the plays. What does a 38-year-old who's the new up-and-coming thing really bring to the table that someone like Bieniemy doesn't? And how are those voices and ideas going to be implemented in a way that the new stuff Bieniemy is bringing wouldn't have been?
So let's talk about that then, because you obviously can speak to the voice that EB has, what it's like to play for him, what he brings to a locker room. A lot of people have talked about his character, holding guys accountable, the culture that he creates. You can speak to it. What do you make of EB, the offensive coordinator? What was it like to play under him?
Yeah, I mean, I had a great experience. I think all those things are true. I know people are kind of throwing that, again, into the hire's face, that the best thing you can do is hire an offensive coordinator, and the first thing everyone talks about is accountability. But if we look at the team from last year, would we have rather had guys being held accountable a little bit more, the details being a little bit sharper, especially receiver position, offensive line, all the false starts? If there was someone to be on those guys a little bit better than the coaching staff was, would there have been more production? Would there have been, another drive a game where instead of a field goal, it becomes a touchdown, those types of things? I could argue pretty easily, yes. Like, would last year's team with better wide receiver coaching, better running back coaching, an offensive coordinator that gets on you the first sign that you're not doing stuff the way you're supposed to do on the field, be a better football team and a better offense? I think it's undoubtedly yes. Is that the widespread change everyone wants to see? No, it's not. So that's where I definitely understand both sides of it. But I think, again, what Bieniemy is bringing is that accountability, is the loud voice that's going to be on guys from the start of practice to the end of practice when he needs to. It's not like he's doing that all the time to everybody. I think he picks and chooses when he does that. I don't think you're ever going to see EB get on Creed Humphrey or Trey Smith, because those guys bring it every single play of a practice. But are there guys that are younger that are going to need that? Is Josh Simlin someone who is going to respond to a guy in his ear? I don't know. I don't know the way Josh likes to be coached, but if that's something that he likes, that's a different style of coaching than what Coach Heck is going to bring, or Coach Reed. So I think there is the positive from that aspect. And then the other thing is, he obviously is a former running back, but he's very good with blitz stuff. And that's not something that the Chiefs have necessarily struggled with the last few years, with how good they are at game planning, with how good Pat is at recognizing stuff. But he is very good at blitz protection and blitz pickup. So you're bringing in someone who, again, has now had some influence from another top coordinator, but what he can bring to picking up those blitzes on critical third down, some different ideas on how to defeat maybe some of the cover zero stuff, some of the disguise looks that we're seeing across the league, I think can be another benefit as well.
Can you explain on a day-by-day basis, or once the game plan is starting to be implemented, what kind of his role is? Because you've said it. It's Andy Reid's offense. It's his fingerprints. He's the one calling the plays. He's the design. But I've also heard a lot about how Andy kind of delegates, and he gives Andy Heck this role, or kind of Embry this role, or Matt Nagy this role. Once Reid kind of comes up with the game plan, comes up with the scheme and those things, what is then EB's responsibility? How is that being communicated to you as a player?
Yeah, I mean, he's addressing the offense as offensive coordinator when it's needed. I will say one of the benefits as an offensive lineman playing in Kansas City is that you're not part of offensive installs that don't really have to do with the offensive line. So, a typical Wednesday, we'll get up there, kind of talk about stuff a little bit, and then you jump into an install and you do screens, you do the run game, which is, typically either offensive coordinator or Coach Reed's doing the screen game, Coach Heck is doing the run game, and then we leave because we don't need to be there for the pass install. So I can't say which guy is doing that, which voice is being heard from that. But then throughout the week, I mean, EB will address the offense. Saturday night in the hotel, EB's going to be doing, the red zone cut up, the breakdown, the last reminders. Coach Reed will do the first 15 install because that's kind of his baby there. But you're hearing from that guy daily throughout the course of the week. So, even if it's not necessarily that guy's offense and he's not the one calling the plays, it's still a strong voice.
This might be a weird question to ask you, and I'm not trying to make it seem like it's not important. But do you think that we, the public, we, the fans, kind of overemphasize who's calling the plays? Because sometimes it makes it seem like if you're not the one calling the plays, that you're not doing anything. And I'm thinking, well, there's a lot of other stuff that you could be doing or that are going on throughout the course of the game that don't revolve around you being the one that ultimately calls the HB counter on first down. Just, I guess, give us a little bit more insight on, okay, if Andy's the one calling the plays, what's Nagy's responsibility? What's EB's responsibility on a game day? And what are their roles in helping the machine continue to go round and round?
Yeah, I mean, it's still a very large role. I mean, that is something that when these teams are hiring coaches, if they're hiring guys who are coordinators, the question is always, is he going to call the plays, whether it's offense or defense? Because now they're juggling two roles. If you're doing all the same OC responsibilities and the head coach responsibilities, that's difficult for someone who hasn't done it before. On game day, I feel like people have talked about kind of the chain of command. The way coach calls plays is he'll kind of give the concept to the coordinator, and the coordinator will be the one in Pat's ear who's actually delivering the play, which is a little bit different, I think, than what most other OCs or head coaches. I think, it's McVay and Stafford's ear. I think we've all seen that clip of Stafford talking to his huddle and McVay's in his ear, and he's like, man, this guy's going on and on. But that's not going to be Coach Reed and Pat's ear. It's passed down to the offensive coordinator, whether that was Nagy or EB. And so he's the guy in Pat's ear. Throughout the course of the week, I mean, you're still doing all the game planning stuff. You're still trying to figure out the best way to attack the defense. Again, if EB's got a different slant than Nagy, where Nagy might be more pass game heavy, being a former quarterback in that world, and EB's a little bit more run game or play action or protection heavy, then as they're game planning, he can maybe add a couple nuggets here that is more to a specialty. But yeah, I would say the fact that you're a play caller is extremely important. Definitely puts a little bit more on your plate. The sequencing, figuring out what the other defense is going to do. Because in football, I mean, the reason you try to break tendencies is because you don't want things to be 100%. As a player, you like things to be 100%. If they line up this way, this is what they run. If they line up this other way, that's what they run. You don't want it to be 70% of the time they do this, 30% of the time they do that, because you can't really get a great feel for playing the 70% versus the 30%. Again, for a right tackle, if it's 70% of the time in this alignment, defensive end rushes up the field, 30% he rushes inside. Well, if I'm playing too much of that 70%, I'm giving up a short corner on the inside because of it. And the same thing works in the play calling world. Like if it's 3rd and 4 and they're supposed to run zone coverage 70% of the time and man coverage 30% of the time, if you call a play that only beats zone coverage, well, 30% of the time you're going to lose because it's man coverage. So that's where you have to build in these things of, half the field's a zone beater, half the field's a man beater, but also as the play caller, having a feel for the coordinator. Is the guy going to throw that changeup on this 3rd and 4 where he knows you're expecting zone and you're going to run your best zone beater? He wants to surprise you with press man. And now I'm calling the man play when it's not the high percentage one. I just have this feel for the coordinator. And that's something that takes a lot of time, I think, for these guys to kind of figure out. And the way coach schedules that first 15 as well, all the new ideas for the week, new formations, wanting to see how the defense is going to react. He is gaining a ton of information for later in the game. And so that's, again, where the sequencing of making things look similar, putting in, counters to the counter to run that big play later in the game. It's a pretty big responsibility to call the plays, and it's fun for those guys, and I understand why you wouldn't want to give it up.
Right now, we're talking to Mitchell Schwartz joining us in studio, former All-Pro Super Bowl champion, getting his thoughts on Eric Bieniemy. One thing I am really excited about, especially as somebody that kind of banged this drum all season, was running the football and being more effective in running the ball. I don't think the Chiefs are ever going to be a run-heavy team. They don't need to be a run-heavy team. But I do think they can be much more efficient and effective when they run the ball than they've been these last couple of years. That I think you can say this about EB unequivocally. Whatever they decide to do at running back this upcoming year, they are going to get the most out of those running backs. So whether it's more of a role for Brashard Smith, whether they spend money in free agency to go get a running back, whether they wait till the 2nd or 3rd round to draft a running back, whatever the plan is at running back, it will be best executed with EB on the staff. His track record's too long, from Damian Williams to Kyle Monungai this year to Spencer Ware, Charkandrick West. We can go up and down the list. EB's going to get the most out of the run game, and for a team that hasn't really emphasized that the last couple of years, and now especially with your quarterback coming off a significant knee injury, and you can't ask him to do everything and carry the ball as often as he had to last year, I am excited about that change in the offense.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. I think it's excellent for Smith, who is coming from receiver to learn that position with someone who is one of the best in the NFL. I mean, you didn't mention this past year, DeAndre Swift as well. I think by far had his best year, especially as like a pure running back within the flow of the offense. I am really looking forward to seeing if the run game, especially under center stuff, trends a little bit more towards Ben Johnson, the way he does angles, the way he does inside zone, mid zone, outside zone, or if EB kind of goes back to the way he did it a little bit before. I think Ben did it different, and so it'll be interesting for me to see that. But yeah, the run game, it doesn't need to be higher volume. It needs to be something that when you do it, it's good enough, and it has to be something that the defense cares about and wants to stop. That's been my issue with the run game the last few years. That's been my issue with the under center play action game, is that the team just gets under center 2 to 4 times a game to run the ball, to then run a play action. The other defense knows this isn't what the team is actually wanting to do in terms of getting under center, running the ball, being physical. It's just all to set up a play action. So they're happy to give up 6-7 yards of carry on under center runs because it's only going to happen 3 or 4 times. And they're happy to sit back and take away the play action that comes off of that, the under center stuff, because that's really what the threat when you get under center. So whether it migrates towards the Rams, Bills, that kind of under center, single back duo action where it's just downhill all the time, and then you got your play actions off of it. McVay gets his play actions a little different. I mean, the way he uses Puka, some of the other guys in these inserts in the blocking game, then they get the inserts into the passing game. You know, Buffalo obviously has done a great job running the ball and comboing that with some under center play action. Or whether he just kind of goes to West Coast style and more what he's used to. I'm not sure. He's not going to tell us, that's for sure. I think one thing from the press conference the other day, everyone is very frustrated, feeling like he's defensive and, we were a top 5 offense, all this other stuff. I can promise you, if he's planning a wholesale change for the offense, he's not going to tell you, not even in February, in January, the Super Bowl hasn't been played. He's not going to tell you, yeah, we're changing the offense. We're going to look more like Sean McVay. That's not going to happen. So we're just going to have to wait to see. It's going to be interesting, but I know that it seems like he's pretty excited for, the change and to silence a lot of people this year.
Day one of free agency, the Chiefs have pretty historically taken a big swing. They usually take a swing on day one. They got Jalen Moore last year on day one. They've just done those kind of things. Jawan Taylor a couple of years ago. I'm kind of leaning towards Breece Hall. Like, I was taking a look yesterday at James Cook contract, and if you're telling me they signed Breece Hall to James Cook contract, I can absolutely live with that. It's not a big cap hit. It's guaranteed money up front. Still gives you a lot of flexibility that obviously radically changes your offense. He's from Wichita, went to school at Iowa State. It makes a lot of sense to me if you are the Chiefs. What do you want? What do you think their big swing day one of free agency is going to be?
That would be great. I feel like someone like Pierce would be maybe more impactful for the offense. My thing with the running back is it would be great to have a running back. I mean, watching Kenneth Walker last week, like, man, wouldn't that be awesome? But is that guy going to do enough in the limited touches to really change the dynamic of an offense? Potentially. Now, very much so potentially. If the other team is afraid that a guy's going to get 14 rushes, but it's not going to be for 57 yards, it might be for 112 yards with the seams and the too high and the space that this offense creates, maybe that does force them to alter their defensive structure, forces them to commit more guys to the box, forces them to step up to the play action in a way they're not currently doing. But will that guy really ever be a bell cow who gets 20-plus carries and the run game is leaned on? I'm not sure. Will a big, physical X-receiver who can beat one-on-one man coverage drastically alter the shape of the offense? I think yes. Like, a guy like that could definitely change the shape of the offense. Obviously, we know receivers haven't really been developed in Kansas City that much outside of Tyreek, especially in terms of a bigger guy in a man-beating role. But I think a guy like that would be more beneficial to this offense than a singular running back. But why not both?
Right now, we're joined in studio by Mitchell Schwartz. I don't know if you've had this conversation privately or not. Certainly not expecting you to tell us any private conversations you've had. What do you think Travis is going to do?
I don't know. I thought retirement was coming before this past season, so I think it's pretty clear he loves football. There's a lot that you can't do with your life once football's over. If you truly love the game, you're never going to get that opportunity back. Obviously, you can retire and come back, but with his age, I don't think that it's necessarily likely that he would take a year off and then come back. The hard part is the commitment to the offseason, to working out, to coming back in shape. Last year he was in fantastic shape. Had a pretty good year, numbers-wise. It's not, Pete Kelsey. It's not going to be anymore based on his age and the wear. But he can still play football at a, pretty good clip. And if he loves doing it, then I think he should come back. If you're kind of on the fence, all those things, in 5 years, are you going to regret coming back or not coming back? You're probably going to regret not coming back because that's a year of football that you can't get back. So I don't know. Like I said, last year I thought that was going to be it. And I know what I would do if I was in this situation. I'd love retirement and I'd walk away very happy and go get married and start my life the new chapter. But he has like so many fun things. I think they just announced he's playing in the Waste Management Phoenix Open. Like, he's going to stay incredibly busy. He's going to do a lot of fun stuff. He's going to do, for the most part, whatever he wants to do post-career. So it's a very hard decision because there's two very even paths there.
Yeah, the analogy I made is, and it's the same. I don't want to make it seem like my job and your job are the same, but I think it is by this is 2 to 6 is the easy part. The hard part is 10 to 2. Like, if you can't do that part, then it just makes the 2 to 6 harder. So to what you were saying is...
Wait, you actually prepare for this?
I do. I do. Wow. I know. Shockingly enough.
Can you verify, Rob? Is that true?
Yeah, shockingly enough, I do prepare for it. So I'm with you. Playing in the games is the reward of all the work that you put in. I think it was very obvious this year. And watching him, he took this offseason seriously. He got back a lot of those things. If you can't put that time in and dedicate your time to it, then you're right. It's time for you to just go do something else. Go host a television show. Go be in a movie. You're marrying one of the most famous people in the world. It's time for you to go do those things. So that's why, to me, that decision is going to answer that question for us. And ultimately, that's not something I can answer. You can answer. That's something he has to answer for himself. Am I still willing to put in the time from March to August that needs to for me to do this job at a high level once the season gets here?
Yeah, I mean, the benefit to being in his position is he can basically do that the easiest way he wants to, personal trainer or, flying people out or being wherever he needs to be. So there is an easier path to doing that. The flip side is it's harder to do that when you're busy. It's harder to do that if you're on a honeymoon, if you're flying to film all these different things, whether it's, again, a show or commercials or playing in golf matches, all these things. So, yeah, I mean, you definitely get to a point where you just don't want to do all the work. Even a guy, you look at like Aaron Donald, at how fanatic he is about working out and all that. It's still very different than when he was working out with the intention of playing football again. It's just especially for a guy like Travis, who has to do so many things on the field in terms of the volume of running. So he's got to be in a certain level of shape, and then the physicality in the blocking game. So he's got to balance those two things with being big and strong enough, and then keeping his speed and having the stamina and the durability to do all that. So it's not easy to get prepared for an NFL season. It's definitely a grind. To your point, it's at this point in his career the harder part of it. So we'll see what he's going to do.
Do you think EB has an effect on that? Like I could see him saying, Pat's not going to miss too much time. Let's say Pat doesn't come back week 1. Nobody thinks he'd be back like week 9. He's going to be back in the first part of the season. Pat's coming back. EB's coming back. Maybe the Chiefs go take a big swing in free agency. Like, this team could very easily win the division next year. They could very easily be back in the conversation of being one of the better teams in the AFC. Like, the foundation is not completely gone there. There's a lot of reasons why I think you could come back and justify coming back for one more season. And you said it. He's playing at a high level still.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you don't need all those justifications to come back. It could be as simple as, I love playing football. It's a great situation. I love Kansas City. I love Coach Reed, and I love Mahomes, and I want to keep playing football. Like, you don't need all those justifications if it's still something that you love. So, yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see. I think, again, it's kind of a win-win, and you could look at it as a lose-lose, because it's like the thing that he's giving up is hard to give up for a year, whether it's the media career, the personal life, or the football season. But no, I don't think all these things are going to be an extra enticing factor for him. I think it just comes down to how much he still loves playing football, how much he's willing to do to prepare for it, and if he's going to regret not being able to do it or not having done it in the future.
Coming up on the other side, there's 2 stories I want to get your thoughts on before you get you out of here. Number 1 is, what do you make of this Bill Belichick controversy? And also, we got to get your thoughts on the Super Bowl. Very curious to hear what you have to say about that. We got Mitchell Schwartz in studio. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
I mean, come on, guys. What are we doing here?
On your home for Chiefs football, 96.5, The Fan.
Men, it's the new year, and for many of us, it's a time of deciding to make positive changes in our lives. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're suffering with erectile dysfunction and are tired of the frustration and embarrassment ED causes, you should call Heartland Men's Health today, because there probably isn't a better resolution you can make than to be done with ED. You see, ED doesn't just affect you, it can also affect your partner, even if they don't talk about it. But here's some great news. If you're like most guys, the treatments at Heartland Men's Health will give you back your sex life, because our protocols have success rates that work in well over 90% of cases. Seriously, you might even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So, make an appointment and get ED out of your life. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. That's heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
DQ presents the Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy, bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ soft serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into soft serve, plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's the limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy, tastes good. Participation may vary.
Presenting a Gain Flings love story. Dear love of my life, we were on the 12B bus this morning when I caught a whiff. A scent so fresh, so life-changing, I had to find its source. Alas, I didn't know if you were the woman in the pink freshly washed cardigan or the retired mailman next to me, but I knew one of you was my soulmate. Ah, the scent of Gain Flings. Try Gain Flings with OxyBoost and Febreze.
The new era of UFC on Paramount Plus continues. Live from Australia. Featherweight champ Alexander Volkanovski.
He is an animal.
Defends his belt at home in an explosive rematch against Diego Lopez.
You gotta be kidding me!
And the always dangerous Dan Hooker.
Yes.
Throws down with powerhouse Benoit Saint-Denis in a high-action lightweight showdown.
Oh! There's never been anything like this.
UFC 325, Saturday, January 31st, only on Paramount Plus.
When the weather gets cold and you don't feel like getting out, nothing warms you up like Smokehouse Barbecue. From burnt ends to hickory pit beans and everything in between, Smokehouse Barbecue hits the spot every time. And the best part is you don't even have to leave the house. Smokehouse Barbecue can deliver right to your door or have it hot and ready for easy pickup. So visit one of their 3 locations in Independence, Gladstone, or Zona Rosa, or order online at smokehousebbq.com. For over 35 years, locally owned and family operated, it's Smokehouse Barbecue.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure where to start? Selling a home can feel overwhelming, especially if you're facing foreclosure, a divorce, an inherited property you don't want, or just need to move quickly. But you don't have to figure it out alone. Rex Buys KC is here to help. As a local home buyer, I understand the Kansas City market inside and out. My family and I live right here, so I know the neighborhoods, the trends, and the challenges homeowners face. That's why I take a consultative approach, helping you explore your options and find the best path forward. We buy houses in any condition, no need for repairs, no agent commissions, and no hidden fees. You'll receive a fair cash offer with a closing timeline that works for you. Whether that's in as little as 7 days or at your own pace, just a simple, hassle-free process designed around your needs. If you're ready to talk through your options, call me today at 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Let's find the right solution for you. Rex Buys KC. Local, fair, and focused on you.
Rob Sight Ford, KC's Ford volume leader and top rated on Google. 135th and State Line. Rob Sight Ford, your 2025 Ford volume leader. Top rated on Google with 4.8 stars and 3,000 plus reviews. The best selection, best prices, and Kansas City's best customer service. Visit Rob Sight Ford at 135th and State Line. Buy right, save big, and drive home a winner. Only at Rob Sight Ford.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
Good afternoon. Let's start with the Independence area. 435 southbound just before 24 Highway. The right lane is blocked. Let's see, 70 westbound past Nolan. It's the right lane blocked there by a stall. We've also got Lee Summit for 70 westbound on the ramp to Blue Parkway. Be prepared to tap your brakes through there. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Trey Smith from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to the Drive with CDOT on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, we got our guy Mitchell Schwartz in studio here, All-Pro, Super Bowl champion. We'll get his thoughts on the Super Bowl here coming up in a little bit. We got 2 Patriot stories I want to get your opinion on. I'm sure by now you've seen it, but Bill Belichick is not going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. What is your reaction? What is your stance? You are in the NFL during this time they're talking about Spygate, Deflategate, all of the gates, all the controversies. What do you make of this?
It's obviously incredibly stupid. I had no capacity or energy to be another one of those people on social media. Oh my God, what a travesty. Like, come on, we know how ridiculous it is. It seems like there's a little bit of the process changed, so maybe that's part of why. I mean, I don't know how you don't vote for him first ballot, regardless of what the process looks like. So yeah, it's a pretty simple stance. This is incredibly dumb that he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's the most accomplished coach of all time, and you really can't argue any other way.
How big of an advantage is Spygate to the New England Patriots? Like, I'm not sure if the average fan sort of understands. Like, Deflategate to me, I always thought was a little bit overblown because of Spygate. And, oh no, we caught you again. But Spygate, like, that is a legitimate scandal in my mind. How big of an advantage is it what the Patriots had?
Yeah, it was a pretty big advantage if you can pull it off and you know what to look for, you know what the signals are. You got to look at, first 15s and what the formations are and the plays that are coming off of that. Yeah, that would be a pretty big advantage. I think they deleted those tapes so that no one could see exactly what New England was getting privy to. But yeah, that's also maybe not a reason to not vote him in first. I know the whole Polian thing and arguing against being a first ballot Hall of Famer because of that. The NFL, the onus is on them to punish Belichick for that, not the Hall of Fame. So whatever the NFL decided to do back then, that's on them. It's not on the Hall of Fame voters to determine that, just like it's not on them to determine whether they like the guy or not, all these other off-field things. It's just did he qualify to be a Hall of Fame coach? And the answer is obviously yes.
My stance on this is this. If you were telling me you can't vote for Bill Belichick because you believe he's a cheater and you will never vote for him, I might disagree with you, but there's a measure I will respect for just like your stance on this position. But if you were telling me you're only doing this so he doesn't have the ability to call himself a first ballot Hall of Famer, but you're just going to turn around and vote for him next year, like what stand did you really take in this? And that's where it just feels like very performative to me. And I know you and I are baseball guys in ways, just I feel like we have just practiced so much selective morality in this thing. Like, how can you vote for David Ortiz in the Hall of Fame, but not vote for Manny Ramirez when they're on the exact same list? Like, why do you not consider David Ortiz to be a cheater, but you consider Manny Ramirez to be a cheater? That's the part about this process that just turns me off.
Yeah, I grew up a San Francisco Giants fan, so I'm a Barry Bonds guy. So I've long been just like, whatever, like Hall of Fame stuff's kind of dumb. It's not been a great week for the NFL in terms of voting for certain things, Pro Bowl, Hall of Fame. I don't know. It just, to me, my first reaction was like, obviously very stupid. If Belichick's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, like why even bother having a Hall of Fame? Like you cannot tell the story of the NFL without a guy who's won 10% of the Super Bowls. Like that's just the way it is. So the first reaction was just like, man, they just needed to disband the whole thing and figure out, something else because we're just not getting the right results here. But obviously you think through it a little bit more, and it's just like, I think the process is going to change. It does seem like this is going to lead towards making all the ballots public, which I think baseball does, which is very good. I cannot believe Polian said that he voted for Belichick and then backtracked and said
immediately, like an hour later.
Yeah, so that tells me he didn't quite vote because he knew that someone might get a hold of his ballot, make it public. Yeah, it's a process that needs revamping. Obviously, if this is the result, it seems like it's going to get revamped. There are some really good people who are part of the process who obviously don't want their names tarnished because they're known to be part of the voting process. So I think there's a lot of people who care about it that will make the changes needed. But yeah, it's a result that shouldn't happen. It's unfortunate for Belichick. Never thought I'd say that, but it's unfortunate for him that he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. But I think he can know pretty comfortably that his legacy is what it is, and maybe, I mean, this is a little bit crude, but in the element of like seeing your obituary kind of thing, like he saw the reaction to him not being a first ballot Hall of Famer. He realizes how much he's valued, he's revered kind of in football circles for his accomplishments. So I think he can at least, live off of that.
Right now, we're joined in studio by Mitchell Schwartz. I want to get your thoughts on the Super Bowl. Very preliminary. I know we have some time to break this down. I don't know how New England can win. I know how Seattle can lose. But I think if we're doing tail of the tape, I'm sitting here and I give you all the advantages that I think Seattle has and all the advantages that I think New England has. I think it's very clear who the better team is. Now, it's any given Sunday. Like, I would not be surprised in a Week 7 football game if New England beats Seattle. And I'm like, oh, it's the biggest upset I've ever seen. But just watching these two teams, watching how they've played over the last month, looking at the competition that they've beaten on both sides, it's really hard to me to, on paper, come up with ways I'm picking New England because of X, Y, and Z. I think it's really difficult to do in preparation for this matchup.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, that's not one that you're going to kind of find the thing in the film to choose. I think Seattle has been the best team throughout the course of the season. I think they solidified that with the way they finished the regular season, obviously continued that throughout the postseason. They've been the most consistent. They've been obviously one of the top defenses. The offense has done really well. The biggest knock on the offense is just like, we don't trust Sam Darnold because of the scar tissue, but if you just look at the way he's performed this year for the majority of last year, even though, again, the two losses at the end of the year kind of paint the picture of maybe what we think of him. Yeah, they're the better team. But if you look at DVOA stuff and some of the advanced metrics, like even with the discrepancy, I still don't think games get much past like a 60-40 split of who they think is going to win, or maybe 65-35. So even if one team is very dominant over the other, and New England's not a bad team by any measure, you're still not picking that team more than 2/3 of the time in an NFL game just because of how variant the NFL is. I did see that tweet of all 18 games that New England played. I don't know if you saw this one. Like, fired coach, fired coach, fired coach, Jets, fired coach, Jets. Like, it's pretty damning when you add it all up and you look at how easy that schedule was. The flip side is, I mean, May legitimately played fantastic in the regular season, has not played well in the postseason. Got 2 weeks, kind of refresh the palate. We'll see what McDaniel can come up with for him. Obviously, Vrabel, fantastic coach, will have them prepared. So on paper, it's going to look like, Seattle should win pretty easily. But I think it's actually going to be a really fun game.
I'll get you out of here with this. One of the coolest things, I think I've told you this before, one of the coolest things in my career was when I met your dad and he was telling me what it was like to watch you play in the Super Bowl. And the way he described it, it was like it just happened yesterday. Like you have these two kids that grow up to be NFL players. Like I never thought I would be here. Next thing I know, like I'm talking to my kid on the field about winning the Super Bowl. What was it like? What was it like to play in the Super Bowl? Like you had those same dreams and, you maybe never thought you would get to this level of your career. Next thing you know, like you are a Super Bowl champion. You get to hold the trophy. You have the ring for what you accomplished. What was it like to play in the final NFL game of the year?
It's pretty cool. I mean, I started in Cleveland, so I didn't have much postseason experience, shall we say, and maybe got a little bit jaded towards caring about that or realizing that I could be really good at my job and it just literally does not matter. I go to Cleveland, Joe Thomas is there, as many Pro Bowls and all pros as he has. Just doesn't matter. Never gets to the playoffs. Myles Garrett kind of seeing the same situation in Cleveland. And so I come to Kansas City and it's like, am I necessarily a better player than I was, in years 3 and 4 in Cleveland? Not necessarily, but the circumstances are better. I get more accolades, more recognition because of it. We get to the playoffs, which is fun. Lose, a couple times, and it's like, the playoffs are kind of terrible. Like you play all this time, you play an extra game or two, wait longer in the season, have more stress, go against better players. You lose, you feel worse. And, back then at least, you didn't get money if you had a bye, which is kind of crazy. And then you got, this is relative to our normal salaries, but you would get a lot less money than you typically would as a second contract player to play in the game. So it's like you're barely making any more money to keep practicing, keep playing. It's very rare to win a Super Bowl, all those things. And it's just like, man, is this even worth it? Like, I don't know, those years where you were just done January 1st in Cleveland, you could go home and you had a full off season. Like, oh, no, that was pretty nice. And then, you get to the AFC Championship game, you could taste the Super Bowl. It's like, okay, like I get it. And then you get to the Super Bowl, you play it, you win it, and then you really understand and kind of the bond you form with the city, all those things. But I don't think in the moment you think much of it. Like, the enormity of it, you understand how important it is. But once you get out there, like, it just is more football. You understand the stage and everyone watching how, again, important all those things are. You don't really get to look back on it until after the fact and kind of realize, like, hey, that was me. That's pretty cool. Like, you start seeing highlights and a year or two later, they're showing Super Bowl stuff and, like, you're in it and you got the ring and, you realize, talking to other people, realizing how important it was for them, how big it was and how much it mattered. And so I think you get the perspective from other people, maybe more than from yourself, because I think when you're in the moment, when you're kind of in the flow of a season and your NFL career, it becomes somewhat normal. It's still something very cool that you did, but like the next year you turn the page, you don't live in the moment of, hey, we were in the Super Bowl last year, or we were in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. Like, that's no longer part of your identity. It's just whatever that current season is. So it's definitely something that you need perspective on from afar. It's something that you get more perspective on when you hear from others, see them, hear about, their stories of watching stuff with their parents and all these things. So, long way to say, yeah, it's pretty cool.
That is Mitchell Schwartz joining us in studio, getting you ready for the Super Bowl and also giving us his thoughts on Eric Bieniemy as the new hire as the offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs. Coming up on the other side, we'll talk about the biggest story not related to football. I'll tell you what it is. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on Kansas City's only FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan.
Sadly, football season is coming to a close, but it's the last call for football on FanDuel. One final Sunday, one last kickoff. The final chance to place your bets before the NFL season closes its tab. This is Super Bowl 60, and FanDuel is making sure you're in on it. If you're a new customer, bet $5 and get $2,000 in bonus bets if you win. So whether you're backing the favorite, riding with the underdog, or building one last same-game parlay, make it count. Because after the Super Bowl, the season's over and football is done. Last call for football on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. Visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Presenting a Gain Flings love story. Dear love of my life, we were on the 12B bus this morning when I caught a whiff. A scent so fresh, so life-changing, I had to find its source. Alas, I didn't know if you were the woman in the pink freshly washed cardigan or the retired mailman next to me, but I knew one of you was my soulmate. Ah, the scent of Gain Flings. Try Gain Flings with OxyBoost and Febreze.
The new era of UFC on Paramount Plus continues. Live from Australia. Featherweight champ Alexander Volkanovski.
He is an animal.
Defends his belt at home in an explosive rematch against Diego Lopez.
You gotta be kidding me.
And the always dangerous Dan Hooker. Yes. Throws down with powerhouse Benoit Saint-Denis in a high-action lightweight showdown.
There's never been anything like this. Let's go.
UFC 325, Saturday, January 31st, only on Paramount Plus.
Midwest, winter 2026, Airman. Say, how's that utility bill? Even your level payment plan seems like it's tilting uphill? But wait, Airman here with some good news to re-level the playing field. Midwest Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing is now offering up to $1,400 in rebates on qualifying Lennox home comfort systems. But hold on, there's more. Midwest is also stepping up with 60 months 0% financing with approved credit. And the newest Lennox systems produce air that is more pure, run quieter, and are significantly more efficient. So much so that your new lower utility bill will seem like a late Christmas present. $1,400 rebate and 60 months at 0%. Now that's more like it. Go to MidwestHeating.com or dial 943-8787 for details. And as so many of your neighbors have for the past 7 decades, trust your air to the best. Midwest. Midwest Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
Good afternoon. Let's start with the Independence area. 435 southbound just before 24 Highway. The right lane is blocked. Let's see, 70 westbound past Nolan. It's the right lane blocked there by a stall. We've also got Lee Summit for 70 westbound on the ramp to Blue Parkway. Be prepared to tap your brakes through there. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's Chris Jones from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, we'll get back to football coming up at the top of the hour. I promise you we will. We can't not talk about this. I think Giannis is about to be traded. Now, Giannis is doing all of the work, I believe, behind the scenes to communicate that he wants to be traded without saying it. Now, I think it would help Giannis tremendously to sit down and do the Taylor Rooks interview. Call up Taylor Rooks. She is new Rachel Nichols. Call her up, sit down in front of the camera, and communicate why you feel you have run out of time in Milwaukee and why you are ready to move on and do something else. I think that is in everybody's best interest. That does not appear like that's what he is going to do. So instead, I believe that his team is leaking information to Shams that he is, quote, ready for a new home. Now, I will say this. And Rob, we can go through the teams that you think would make sense or not make sense for Giannis. I am telling you this as somebody who does not have a favorite NBA team, but just likes basketball, loves drama, and loves intrigue. There are 2 teams that I want to see him go to. I either want to see him go to San Antonio, and let's see if he and Wemby can overthrow the Oklahoma City Thunder, or him being traded to the Knicks and playing with Jalen Brunson and seeing if that team can win the NBA championship this year. If he's not getting traded to one of those 2 teams, I don't care. Like, him going to Miami does nothing for us. They're not winning anything with him. He is just in warm Milwaukee, if that's the case. The only 2 teams that are interesting for Giannis are those 2 teams. Now, I will give you a dark horse team, and we'll see. But I don't know if they have enough. What about Golden State? Do you think Golden State has enough? I think they potentially would have had enough if not for Jimmy Butler's injury. But there aren't a lot of teams, A, that have the young player that I think Milwaukee would want back, the draft picks that I think Milwaukee would have back, and just, A, be interesting. And ultimately, that's all I care about. I want interesting. And Giannis going to Miami, it's not interesting. There's not a well-built, great basketball team right now. The Spurs are, and the Knicks are. The Thunder have the things to go get them. I just don't think that the Thunder are making that trade. Like, what are they giving up? They're trading Chet Holmgren for him. They're trading Jalen Williams for him. I don't think the Thunder make a lot of sense in reality. They won the championship last year. They're the best team in the NBA this year. The Thunder, to me, just don't make a lot of sense to go make this trade, as crazy as it sounds, that a top, 25 player in league history is available.
So I agree he's getting traded. I do not think it's happening before the February 5th deadline. Like, Sham's report is, the team is now fielding serious offers in advance of the deadline or this offseason. If I'm the Bucks, I'm waiting for the offseason. I'm not giving Giannis, who's battling an injury right now, and I'm air quoting an injury. I think it's the I don't want to be here flu more than it is a real injury. I'm not giving Giannis to the Knicks in the East to go win a championship this year. I'm trading him on the 4th of July. I'm trading him on July 11th. I think he is going to get traded. I do think the Knicks are going to be the team. San Antonio will be interesting, but I think the story leaked out because Giannis wants it done in the next 7 days because that's when the NBA trade deadline is. But if I'm the Bucks, I'm waiting until the summer. You're still getting traded. I'm still going to get King Ransom back for you, but I'm not going to send you to the Heat or one of these teams in the East that can win a title with you at midseason. That's just not in my best interest. So I do agree he'll get traded. I still think it's the Knicks. San Antonio's interesting. I actually think the Heat, Pat Riley kind of pulls these type of things off. But I do not think it is happening before February 5th. I think February 6th, me and you are not talking about the NBA because we are just waiting for this to happen in July.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing is, you have to trade Giannis. Like, I don't think you have a choice at this point.
He will get traded. I just don't think it will be during the season.
No, I agree. No, I agree with you. I'm saying is, I think you have to trade him either now or when you're talking about. He cannot be on the team to start next season. It is the final year of his contract, and I think he has made it very clear he is not re-signing with you after this. He has given you now a decade of his career. He's still one of the top 10 players in the NBA. I've won a championship here. I'm no longer going to be here. So I think it makes all the sense in the world why, A, they need to trade him right now. I also think it makes all the sense in the world why now he wants to be traded. I just think that he has to communicate that openly and clearly if he wants to be traded now. If Giannis wants to be traded today, you got to do that through the Taylor Brooks interview. And to me, that video of it circulating and going viral that you have said, I no longer want to play in Milwaukee. We know how the NBA works. It puts pressure on you. It gets you to move. It gets you to make a decision on what you need to do. So I think it's the most interesting non-football story right now in the league, that one of the great players in the league is asking to be traded. This feels to me a lot like the Kevin Garnett trade from, what was that, back in 2008. It feels like that. Now, it's different because KG never won a championship in Minnesota and Giannis has won a championship in Milwaukee. But I would say very similar kind of players. If you get on the right team, the right system, Giannis could still absolutely help a team win a championship the way that Kevin Garnett did. It really just depends on what team, what organization you get traded to. And that's why I mentioned the Spurs or the Knicks. Either one of those 2 teams you get traded to could absolutely win a chip with you as one of their main pieces.
I do believe it'll be the Knicks, but I do wonder if a lot of these teams we're mentioning have the bounty of stuff to give away for Giannis. Like, I think the Spurs have the stuff. Do the Knicks? Like, if you're the Bucks, what can the Knicks offer you that you would say yes to? And now I'm putting
Cat, OG Anunoby, and picks.
I'm not as high on Cat as a lot of people.
I mean, I agree.
Like, maybe that's enough. Maybe I don't know who the GM of the Bucks is. Maybe he loves Karl Anthony Towns, and he thinks that's going to get Karl Anthony Towns, and that's going to get it done. I don't know that's enough for Giannis. I know the Heat could put a package together of Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, and some picks, and now Giannis in Miami, you compare their superstar down there with him. Watch out. That's how Pat Riley operates. That seems like enough. But, man, I just don't know. There's a lot of teams that are like, hey, he's on the final year's deal. He's an aging superstar. Not old, but aging. We're giving up a king's ransom for him. And the Knicks don't have a ransom to give up because they just made the trade last offseason. I forget which one. But they
Bridges.
Gave up Bridges.
The Bridges
they
trade.
gave up a bunch of stuff for Bridges. They don't have a stuff left over.
I want to play this audio for you guys, and I know we're up against it here. Think about the optimism you feel about your football team. I mean, even in the face of what we talk about with the Chiefs, like, it ain't really that bad. Can you imagine cheering for the Jets? This is WFAN. This is the most popular sports talk show in New York City. Incredible show. Shout out to Boomer Esiason. These are the topics they're discussing. Listen to this.
You have to get somebody in here that can be somewhat competent to be able to try to win games because you want to save your jobs if you're the coaches and you're the GM. If you told me it was Deshaun Watson, come on, and he was trying to resurrect his career.
I mean, is this a guy that's taking anything seriously?
But that's, again, if that were the guy, much like, the reputation that Kyler Murray has, this is what you're dealing with. This is why, these are all my questions that I would like to know answers to. We don't.
Can you imagine, like, it's January, you're trying to get excited again about the season, and your coach is Aaron Glenn, and on Sports Talk, they're debating your options at quarterback are Kyler Murray or Mr. Nasty Man? I mean, just, Lord, take the wheel. How are you already eliminated from the 2027 NFL playoffs? How are you already? We haven't started free agency. We haven't got to the draft. We haven't got to the combine. You're already eliminated? If you're discussing Deshaun Watson, you're eliminated. You have no chance of making the playoffs if that's the case. Coming up at the top of the hour, let's get to the top story in the National Football League. Bill Belichick was not named to the Hall of Fame on the first ballot. Everybody's got an opinion. We'll give you our opinion next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
Okay, that's Dahl and Independence causing big backups. I see a lot of red. 435 southbound just before 24 Highway. It is the right lane blocked. Overland Park, that's a multi-car crash now, 35. It's southbound past 95th, off to the right shoulder, blocking part of the right lane. But as you can imagine, we're going to experience backups here. Steinbauer, traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Let's go! You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hola, amigos! It's the big noise, Brad Evans from BetMGM tonight. Listen Monday through Friday starting at 6 p.m. Eastern on Westwood One Sports as we cover the biggest sports stories from coast to coast. Get insights on the NFL playoffs, college basketball conference races, and more. Download the Odyssey app now and listen from anywhere. BetMGM tonight, live and interactive, presented by BetMGM. Tune in, Team Huevos.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
For your big game party, you better pop into Total Wine and More for a guaranteed win. We've got thousands of bottles down every prices so low they're gonna make you smile.
Drink responsibly, B21.
O'Reilly.
Protect your vehicle's engine with Syntec and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec Full Synthetic Motor Oil is formulated for today's engines. Right now, get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select oil filter for just $32.99. Plus, receive 2 times O Rewards points. Limits apply. Choose Syntec exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
When I wake up
The best mornings
in the morning light,
start with Wrangler.
I put on my jeans and I feel alright.
Jeans, jackets, and shirts that get your day started. Good mornings make for better days. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
And Doug.
There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means playing in a football game.
Boom! 42! You're going down, Doug!
Oh yeah? Your price on car insurance when you customize and save is going down.
Hey!
Limu? What are you doing on their team? Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Hola, amigos! It's a big noise. Brad Evans from BetMGM tonight. Listen Monday through Friday starting at 6 p.m. Eastern on Westwood One Sports as we cover the biggest sports stories from coast to coast. Get insights on the NFL playoffs, college basketball conference races, and more. Download the Odyssey app now and listen from anywhere. BetMGM tonight, live and interactive, presented by BetMGM. Tune in, Team Huevos.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
DQ presents the Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy, bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ soft serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into soft serve. Plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's the limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy, tastes good. Participation may vary.
The Chiefs offseason show with Bob, Dusty, Cody, Alex, and CDOT is Tuesday, February 10th, starting at 9 a.m. right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC, FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
I'm not saying everybody has to do it this way. I'm really not. But I think there's only one way to do it. I try to be clear on my stance and my position on things. And then I let you decide whether you agree or don't agree. You're allowed to disagree. We're allowed to disagree on things. I don't take a stance to try to create any controversy. No, this is my position. This is how I feel. You're allowed to feel your way. Let's talk about it. Let's have a discussion. I believe that's what the job is. I think that's sports talk. Now, I would love to have a Hall of Fame vote. I'd love to have an MVP vote. I'd be happy to tell you guys who I voted for or didn't vote for and why I voted for this person. It's my opinion. You vote for who you think should win MVP. This is who I think should win MVP. This is who I think is in the Hall of Fame. This is why I think they should be there. A lot of this Bill Belichick conversation to me would lack intensity if the people that voted no would just stand up and say why. I would have a measure of respect if you came out and told me, I think Bill Belichick is a fantastic coach, but due to the fact that he was tied to a significant cheating scandal, that lessens his accomplishment to me, and I don't want to reward that person with a spot in football immortality. So I'm voting no for Bill Belichick, and I will vote no every time that he is there because I don't think that guy should be in the Hall of Fame. I would disagree with you, but I would respect the gumption of it. I would respect you standing up. But what I don't like in this conversation is if you're going to vote no on Bill Belichick now, what would then change to make you vote yes next year? I mean, it's not like Spygate is not a thing anymore. No, they still did that. There is no question that the Patriots cheated. We are not even debating it. This isn't even like, oh, well, wink, wink. No, they cheated. They filmed teams' plays. They filmed teams' practices. They filmed teams. They had information that you are not supposed to have for a team and use this to their advantage. They cheated. They were significantly punished by the National Football League. If your position is that's why you're not voting for the man, honestly, I would get it. I would understand. I see a lot of people making the point, well, what about Tom Brady? I think it's very different. Brady was not the mastermind behind Spygate. He's a player on the team. I don't think that Brady went up to the head coach and was like, hey, I got a line where we can go record the Rams plays before the Super Bowl. No. So Brady, to me, is in a very different category. I think Belichick was the ringleader in the cheating scandal. So I think it's a little bit different. Now, I still would have voted, and I've been very clear about my stance. I just don't like the selective morality about it. If you're going to be mad at this thing, you got to be mad about this thing too, and then nobody should be able to get in. And it feels very pick and choose. It feels like who we like, who we don't like, and I just don't think that's the job. I don't think that's the responsibility. I think the responsibility is I look at your records, I look at your numbers, your stats, your accomplishments. I compare it to other guys who are in the Hall of Fame. I compare it to your contemporaries, and I vote if you are worthy in being in this group. And maybe you'll agree or not agree. I don't love Mike Evans the way that you guys like Mike Evans, but I think my stance on Mike Evans and the why is very clear. But you're allowed to feel that way. But Belichick, what are we doing? Even if you remove everything that happened before Spygate, and you are only taking what he did on the back half, that guy won over 100 games. That guy's still top 3 all-time in postseason wins. He has 2 championships and 1 appearance. Even if you are going after Spygate, what are we doing here now? Come on. That guy's a Hall of Fame coach. I know it, you know it, they know it, everybody knows it. But we have let pettiness, we've let personal differences, personal grievances, feelings, all of those things play in, and I just don't think that's the job. I want to play for you at first. Here's what Tom Brady had to say. I mean, there's no person I'd rather hear from today than Tom Brady. He is always going to be linked to Bill Belichick. He went on Seattle Sports. Shout out to our guy Mike Salk, who was on the show last week. Brady went on his show this morning and said this.
I don't understand it. I mean, I was with them every day. If he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, there's really no coach that should ever be a first ballot Hall of Famer, which is completely ridiculous because people deserve it. And he's incredible. There's no coach I'd ever want to play. I'd rather play for. If I'm picking one coach to go out there to win a Super Bowl, give me one season, I'm taking Bill Belichick. So that's enough said. There's nothing outside of that. You know, again, when it comes down to votes and, you know, popularity and all that, like, you know, then welcome to the world of voting, and you may as well go, you know, try out for the Oscars or whatever and, you know, get a big panel to tell you if you're good or not. So it's the way it works. And that's, unfortunately, you know, he's going to get into the Hall of Fame. In the end, I'm not worried about that. You know, and a lot of times in life, you know, for all of us, you know, things don't happen exactly how you want them on your timeline, but we'll all be there to celebrate him when it does happen. And he's going to have a huge turnout from so many players, coaches that appreciated everything that he did and the commitment that he made to winning and the impact that he had on all our lives. And that'll be a great celebration when it happens.
This just all seems very petty when it comes to Belichick. I really don't like the, well, what has he done without Brady argument. I don't like it. I don't think that it's very fair to Bill. And I think we are now playing the end result of Brady, and we are forgetting in real time how we felt about Tom Brady in the moment. We're saying that Bill doesn't get credit for the first Super Bowl that Tom Brady won. Whenever the Drew Bledsoe injury happens, he had a chance to come back. I think a lot of coaches would have sat the backup quarterback down and then went to the starting quarterback. Bill said, no, I'm riding with Tom. They then won the Super Bowl. Bill doesn't get credit for that now? Bill doesn't get credit for the second championship or the third one? I just don't like the way that we're doing this. And if we want to play that game where we have to remove what you've done, well, then Phil Jackson's never done anything without Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, or Shaquille O'Neal. Greg Popovich is a phenomenal coach. He's never done anything without Tim Duncan. That's the game we want to start playing with, guys. We got to take away when you had your best players. I just don't know how you accomplish great things. How do you think you build a dynasty? We're now removing the best players that you had. It just all seems very selective to me when it comes to Bill Belichick. I would have voted for Bill to be in. I think everybody should have voted for Bill to be in. And if your stance is, well, I'm going to vote for him in the second and third year, but I had to prove a point, I just don't think that is the place of the Hall of Fame to try to prove a point. More than anything, this feels like the plan was to try to hurt Bill more than anything and hurt Bill's feelings and not give him the feeling of I'm a first ballot Hall of Famer, to not give him that honor. That's not the place of the Hall of Fame to be able to do that, in my opinion. Here is Armando Salguero. He is a Hall of Fame voter. He went on DA's show. Shout out to DA. He was on DA's show this morning. He talked about the sentiment inside the room.
I knew that he would need a presentation because I also presented him in the subcommittee, in like the coaches subcommittee. And there was pushback on him at that front, even though he advanced from that particular subcommittee to the full selectors room. Look, the bottom line is there were people that said that they were uncomfortable with Spygate. There was one person who said outright, I'm not voting for him because of Spygate, period. And apparently at least 11 people joined him.
Well, let's stand up then. Excuse my language, grab your nuts. Go on Colin Cowherd, go on Bill Simmons' podcast, go on Pardon My Take and explain why you didn't vote for Bill Belichick. I can respect that. But doing it anonymously and now playing I think I voted for him. I absolutely, why do that? If you feel that strongly about it, stand proudly in how you feel. You're allowed to feel that way if that's the way you feel about Bill Belichick. Someone on the text line says, C-Dot, do you think his creepy relationship has anything to do with it? I don't know why. I'm not sleeping with that woman. Why do I care if he is? What does that matter? They're two adults, consenting adults. They both seem fine with it. Why should I not be fine with it? Am I trying to get at Jordan? No. I don't care about Bill's relationship. Bill's relationship has nothing to do with an undefeated regular season. Bill's relationship has nothing to do with the fact that he has coached in 8 Super Bowls and won 6 of them. It has nothing to do with he is maybe the best defensive coordinator in the history of the National Football League. Jordan Hudson ain't got nothing to do with that. So, no, I don't care who Bill is spending his free time with. He grown, she grown. Yes, it's weird, but that ain't got nothing to do with me. That's their relationship. I want to play one more cut for you guys. This is Seth Wickersham, who has covered the Patriots and Bill and Tom as well as anybody. He went on Cowherd's show and said this.
This is interesting, is that like a couple years ago, they changed the groups of people who get in, and they created, the Hall of Fame created this hodgepodge of senior players, coaches, and contributors. So this is why, in case your viewers are wondering, we have Bill Belichick up against Roger Craig and Ken Anderson, the quarterback for the Bengals in the 70s, to make it into the Hall of Fame. And there's 50 voters, and they can vote for 3 candidates. And I think that's where things got really tricky. I think that there's some voters who didn't vote for him because of Spygate and because of the cheating and the rule breaking that happened during that time. And then I think there's a lot of voters who tried to vote for their guys with the assumption that Belichick was going to get in. I think they figured that it was a fait accompli.
Yeah.
And so because of that, it's like this perfect storm of, dysfunction where a guy who has 8 Super Bowl rings and is the second winningest coach of all time, greatest coach, at least of the Super Bowl era in the NFL, didn't get in.
Again, not voting for Tom or Bill because you think other people are going to vote for him. That's not the job. That's not the task. If that's your logic, you should also lose your ability to vote. Oh, well, I didn't vote for Tom because I thought other people. What? No. Vote for the people that you think are most deserving of it. That it obviously not happen here. Again, I honestly, I'm serious. If somebody comes out between now and the end of the week that voted no, and they explain why they voted no, and that's their stance, and their stance is, I will vote no every single time he's up there. We can disagree, but I will respect it. But if you were doing this just to prove a point or make Bill feel bad or show him a lesson, that's petty. And I just don't think that's what Hall of Fame voting should be. But if your position is he cheated, he is a massive cheater, I do not support cheating, I do not think there's a place for it in football, I will never vote for that individual. But we all know that's not going to be the case. Next year, everybody's going to vote for Bill. And it's just going to be a waste of everybody's time that we just spent the first week of Super Bowl coverage arguing about Bill Belichick. It's the waste of everybody's time.
I will say real quick before we break.
You're good.
Vahe Gregorian of the Kansas City Star has written an article about why he did not vote for Bill Belichick.
Oh, wow. Vahe voted no?
Vahe just posted, Vahe Gregorian, Bill Belichick belongs in the Hall of Fame. Here's why I didn't vote for him. He just posted that article
recently. You think Vahe
recently.
will come on?
I can reach out.
Yeah, see if he wants to come on. I'd love to give Vahe's perspective on this.
But yeah,
I'd love to.
Vahe, I didn't know Vahe to vote. They're anonymous. So
I love Vahe. I think Vahe's great.
Great for Vahe. I'm happy for him. He
must have took Therez's vote.
That makes sense, yeah. Mm-hmm. But he has an article in the KC Star right now about why he did not vote for Bill Belichick. I have not read it, so I don't know. He might say exactly what you're saying. I don't know. I just saw it come across, so I don't know all the details.
Shout out to Vahe Gregorian. I'd love to talk to Vahe if he wants to come on and talk about why he didn't vote for Bill Belichick to be into the Hall of Fame. All right, coming up on the other side, let's talk about the Kansas City Royals. I mean, kind of like Bill Belichick, they're always in the news. This time, Clay County has said, no, we're not going to participate. We are out. We'll talk about it. Also, Todd Palmer is going to be on the show with the latest on the Royals and their pursuit of a new stadium. Keep it right here, it's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
Well, the big game is right around the corner, and I'm imagining that you're going to watch the last football game of the season with family and friends. So look no further than our friends over at Gates Barbecue for party trays, which are perfect for your family get-togethers, your big game watch party, and nothing says the big game celebration like the great flavors over at Gates Barbecue that's still doing it the old-fashioned way. So stop in, grab yourself a party tray. You can also grab yourself a wing pack. You can get a 12-pack, a 24-pack, pick up some fries with it, pick up some of that class sauce. Maybe you plan on throwing something on the grill for yourself for the big game. Well, make sure the next time you go to the grocery store, you pick up some of that classic Gates sauce, also some of that classic Gates seasoning along the way. It's Carrington Harrison here telling you that whatever your big game plans are, make sure they include our friends over at Gates Barbecue.
Wouldn't you like to take a vacation from your bills? Well, you can. With credit card balances at an all-time high and Golden Oak's 4.5% rate, you could be saving thousands of dollars after a simple phone call. Call today and get your cash in as little as 14 days and make no payments for 2 months. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
5.442 APR, FHA 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit, additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Chiefs coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door. RENNER forward and back.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Who knew a Halloween costume would change my life and lead me to Renner Garage Door? Renner's KC's go-to team for service, repair, and replacement.
RENNER, RENNER.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth a lot more. And I completely agree. That's why I'll pay more for your car at GiveMeTheVin.com. That's the name of our new campaign. I'm worth more. You are worth more, and your car's worth more. And that's why I will pay more. And remember, if I don't beat the price on a CarMax or a Carvana deal, I'll pay you $100 at GiveMeTheVin.com.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Hi, I'm Tom Shane. Since 1929, Shane Company has helped millions of customers find their dream engagement ring. I still hand-select every ruby and sapphire center stone, choosing each one for its unique color and life. We're proud to offer the widest selection of beautiful colored gemstones for your engagement ring and fine jewelry, because a friend wants you to have nothing but the best. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter.
Well, good morning, kiddo. I love that you're home from college. I've missed you.
Still taking your Nature Made vitamins?
Every day. A multivitamin and a probiotic. You better be taking yours.
Still looking out for me, Mom.
I'll never stop.
Made to care for you every day. Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Find us in the vitamin aisle, based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Metal by the Foot, your metal project superstore.
At Metal by the Foot, we pride ourselves on delivering the highest quality metal to meet your exact needs. Located in Casey and Topeka, online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
We've got a slowdown down in Grandview. It's a stall blocking the right lane, 49 southbound at 140th. The biggest delay, boy, there's a lot of red. Both directions affected at 435. The stall is blocking the right lane southbound 435 just before 24 highway. But again, both directions are heavy. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Vinny Pasquantino. Welcome into The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Royals baseball, 96.5 The Fan.
All right, we're going to split this up before Todd Palmer calls in. We do a little bit of Royals, we'll do a little bit of football, and then Todd Palmer will call in. I want to... Let's have this conversation first. 913-586-7965. Because I've seen more of it over the last 48 hours or so. Rob, why do you think people keep bringing up Nashville as a possibility for the Royals or them moving? Despite the fact that their owner has talked multiple times about his first date was at Kauffman Stadium. Despite the fact that almost everybody we know who is attached to the Royals is a local person. It's Eric Stonestreet's a part owner. Patrick Mahomes is you can find out who has ownership in the Royals, and they are all Kansas City people. And Kansas City, Missouri has been saying this entire time, we want you, we want you, we want you. Why do you think people continue to, in any capacity, bring up, oh, well, they might move. Oh, they might move. No, they're not moving. Why do you think this is?
It's a really good. Well, here's my best guess. I don't know how to answer the question to speak for everyone, but here's my best guess. What do we see sports franchise owners do when they are trying to get a new stadium? They almost always threaten to leave. Like in Kansas City, remember a long time ago, the Penguins are coming to Kansas City. Well, they never were. The threat to leave usually spurs action. So I think people are making the assumption, not John Sherman, I think people are making the assumption of, well, they're eventually going to threaten that or try to do that because that's what franchises do when they want to get a new stadium. Because for better or worse, that has been the path to new stadium in America.
You're right. I would just say this one part, and we can continue on. I just typed in Nashville, Kansas City Royals. Do you know the last time that there was an actual news story that was written on this? Like an actual, somebody in the news linked the Royals potentially to Nashville. It was June 4th of last year, in which a Missouri senator said that certain cities had reached out to the Royals, which you should. If you're Nashville, if you're Salt Lake City, if you're New Orleans, you are not doing your job if you don't at least inquire. I think they were told very clearly the answer is no, we're not interested in moving or relocating. Again, the Royals have expressed we want to be in downtown Kansas City. And downtown Kansas City has told us now for 2 years, we want you here. And the mayor And other people have on record says we are willing to do what we feel is necessary to be able to keep him. So I just don't understand why Nashville keeps coming up or why anybody would insinuate that there is anything more than a 0.0001% chance that they can move. That's not even what's really entertaining to me. The next part is, and this is not me trying to make excuses for the Royals, but I think this is a fair way of having the conversation. The Royals have been at their current location since when, Rob? 1972.
I'm going to say early 70s, late 60s, kind of a basically around
They've been there for a long time. I only bring that up because it is safe to say whenever they make a decision, that is the plan for a significant amount of time. The Royals have been at the Truman Sports Complex for 52 years, and they broke ground on it 57 years ago. You have always been in the same place. I do think we are not giving the Royals this amount of grace. Tomorrow, if your wife just said we need to move, I don't think you instantly move in 3 months. I think maybe you got to have a conversation about your finances, what you got to do to get in order. Maybe you got to say, hey, we don't have enough for a down payment right now. Let's take a little bit of time. Let's save. Let's do all these kind of things. And then you would make a decision on where or potentially if you want to move. The Royals are talking about doing a $2 billion project wherever they build it, largely inside a community. I think it's a very different conversation. Right now, the Chiefs, they're building a stadium essentially in the middle of nowhere. There's no houses there. There's not schools where they are. Like we're not going to tear anything down. Like all of this area is ours to do whatever we want with. That's not the conversation that the Royals are having. One of the conversations that the Royals were having in Kansas is, there's a movie theater across the street. There's a whole entertainment district across the street. There's 2 hospitals around the corner. Like, that was not a conversation that you were going to be having in 3 weeks. Oh, we got our plan. We're moving right here. So I do think in some ways, and I get it, maybe it's our attention spans. We want these things to happen kind of quickly. Man, the Royals were talking about making a $2 billion, 50-year decision. So I just understand that this is going to take a little bit of time in order to reach the clarity. Now, some of that is, I don't think the Royals have been very transparent in all of it. And I think we can now say this. The Royals handled the first 6 months of this about as poorly as you can handle it. So just first impressions have been really, really bad. They did not handle the vote well. They didn't handle the conversation and the community aspect of it, I think, very well before the vote. But I would say since the vote, I don't really think the Royals have done a whole lot wrong in all of this. I don't think they've really done a whole lot wrong. I think they've kind of kept things in-house. Maybe you could argue they should just talk more about it. Sherman should maybe talk once a month, give a letter, do all of these kind of things. That's not really what the Chiefs did. I don't know why we expect the Royals to do it. Neither here nor there. But I don't think the Royals have really done a whole lot wrong the last 2 years. If you want to talk about before the vote, sure. I think they made a bunch of mistakes. But I think the Royals are realistically taking their time, figuring out what's in the best interest of them, and I've always wanted them to do this. Whenever they finally come to us with something, it better be real. Hey, this is the plan. We got to figure it out. Here's our parking plan. This is how we plan on paying for it. This is where we want it to be. I just want a clear and concise message. So if that takes 2 years for us to get it, but the Royals have everything figured out, I can live with that. I mean, they're still not out of time, and I would say they're still in a really good position. What's the worst case scenario right now? And the worst case scenario is not them moving to Nashville. The worst case scenario is they stay at the Truman Sports Complex for another year. That right now, instead of they're supposed to be out by 2031, they stay until 2033 because they're still working and they're building on the stadium. That's the worst possible thing that could happen. A majority of you want them to do that anyway.
I think, I don't know if this is totally disagreeing with you. I think the Royals have made one major mistake along the way. I think it was before the vote. I think it was after the vote. And I think this has been the biggest problem they've had, is that the Royals have really never come forward with a clear, concise, this is what we're doing plan to galvanize the community. Think about all the news we've gotten about the future of the Royals Stadium. It's little leaks and drips from different entities, different outlets, different spots. The Washington Square Park thing kind of started from the mayor talking about it. East Village coming back into the fold came out from the mayor talking about it. 119th and all. The Royals never spoke on that, but news organizations found out, hey, they own the land out there. Clay County, one of the commissioners, he was like, hey, we're talking to the Royals about moving up here. It wasn't the Royals who said, we like North Kansas City. I guess they kind of sort of laid out a crossroads plan, but that was kind of built day of the vote.
Bad. It was bad.
So, like, my main complaint with the Royals is that they haven't come together and said, this is where we want to be. This is our plan. Let's all get on board. For better or worse, that's what the Chiefs did. You never heard nothing from the Chiefs until it was happy-go-lucky, sign autographs, raising balloons and banners at Kansas, though.
I agree with you, but I think the Chiefs conversation was always going to be different because of where they are talking about building the stadium. Like, who has any opposition other than where the stadium is on Kansas side? Where would the opposition come from? We think the people in Wyandotte County are just like, hey, this land that's not being used anyway, no, we don't want to give it to the NFL team. It's not the conversation we were having with the Royals. So that's where I think it's just very, very different in what we were talking about. And I think the Royals at least deserve credit for this. Now, let's get the ball across the goal line. But, I mean, isn't their plan going to work? Imagine if you wanted attention from one specific person, and now it would appear you are going to get the attention that you want. Maybe you did it in a roundabout way. Maybe it took longer than you had anticipated, but the end result, it appears like they are there. I don't think the Royals ever really had interest in going to Kansas. I don't think the Royals really ever had interest in going to North Kansas City. So maybe they played the game. That's politics. And they went back and forth with Kansas, and I think they made a real due diligent effort. I always think that the 119th and all was their plan B. That was their fallback option. We own this land. Let's do all of our research. Let's talk to these people. Let's talk to this people. Let's talk to T-Mobile. Let's talk to Leewood. Let's have all the meetings that we want to make sure that this is a viable plan B. But I don't think that was ever their plan A. I think their plan A was always figuring it out in Kansas City and being downtown where they ultimately want to be. So maybe it might end up being a roundabout way and it ends up taking longer and we're annoyed because it's taken up so much time on sports talk radio and on the newspaper. But ultimately, if this leads to the Royals getting what they want and ultimately what I think the community wants is a downtown stadium, I would say in the end, it's all worth it. It's all been worth it. They wanted the attention from Missouri. They wanted the attention from downtown Kansas City. They wanted the money generated. It sounds like they are there. If you thought there were 3 realistic options for the downtown stadium, 2 of them have vied out this week. They are no longer moving to 119th and all, and the people in North Kansas City wrote a lengthy letter that basically said, we will not negotiate. We don't want to be played as competition. Well, then I would argue if you're not interested in competition, you're not interested in actually winning. Because I have noticed one thing in this entire conversation. The only side that doesn't seem to have a problem with competing is the one that got the Chiefs. Missouri takes the stance of, we don't want to compete. It's the border war truce. Kansas doesn't seem to follow the border war truce. So an agreement between two sides is only as good if both people are following the agreement. If one side is secretly, we're going to take this company and we're going to take this company and we're trying to take one of your biggest companies, then what is that an agreement? So Kansas they seem perfectly fine with the competition. North Kansas City, you don't seem fine with the competition. That is why you are not getting the Royals, if that's what you wanted. And Kansas City, Missouri, they seem finally ready to be prepared for the competition. And it appears, at least right now, it is trending towards they are going to get their way. Let's head to the phone lines right now to be joined by Todd Palmer of KSHB 41 News, joining us on the show today. Todd, how you doing today, my man?
No, that was good, C-Dot. Hey, before we get going, today would have been Therese Paylor's 42nd birthday. I just want to give a shout-out to my guy. I miss him every day.
Absolutely. No, happy that you did that. Right now we're talking to Todd Palmer joining us on the show today. All right, Todd, can you tell us what you have been reporting? Because I wanted to have you on here. You are reporting that it would appear that the Royals are zeroing in their focus on Washington Square Park.
At least as far as, I mean, look, we've been through this for, 3.5 years now? Everything old is new again at some point. But the focus as far as Kansas City, Jackson County, and the only site that they're really having any dialogue with the Royals about right now is Washington Square Park and that old H&R Block headquarters and the employee parking lot that was behind there.
Do you like that location?
there's a variety of reasons to really like it. Yeah, I mean, the proximity to the streetcar line, I think, is the biggest one. Because it opens up parking and it opens up opportunities and ways to get to the game that, frankly, we've never had. And I think that was part of the appeal for a downtown stadium in the first place. Is it's multimodal, right? You could bike to it, you could walk to it, you could take the streetcar. There's going to be some pockets where you can park around the neighborhood for those people who are savvy and know how to get around the city. It's no different than T-Mobile Center right now. If you know what you're doing, you can get in and out without much hassle, in my opinion. I like the sight lines. I like, the proximity to some other really cool spaces in Kansas City, be it Union Station, be it the National World War I Museum and Memorial, which is just an absolutely underrated gym, in my opinion. You still keep it near the crossroads. And I think it presents an opportunity to reimagine and reinvigorate that Crown Center area in some ways. So, and then if you start heading south from there, I don't want to gentrify it, but I think there's some opportunities to improve some neighborhoods in that area as well. So on balance, I don't think it's a terrible location.
Right now, we're talking to Todd Palmer of KSHB 41 News. He has the report that the Royals are starting to focus in on Washington Square Park as a location for their new stadium. Todd, I guess to couple with what we were just talking about, do you like the location? Do you think that area is big enough? Because I think it's twofold. I do think that area is big enough if you are just building a ballpark, but the Royals have kind of communicated they see it as being more than that. They want shops and restaurants and apartments and hotels, and they want to build the battery that Atlanta has. I don't know if there's enough room in that area to build what the Royals' maybe ideal vision is for all of this.
There's not on that site, like the Washington Square Park site and the H&R Block site. Absolutely not. Like you can fit a stadium on there, and that's it. And look, frankly, it's you'd like it to be an acre or two bigger even to put a stadium, but you can fit one there. Stadiums have gone in smaller places before, so that's not the problem. I think the Royals are going to have to get creative if they want that district. I think that And I think they're going to be smarter about maybe making some strategic approaches to property owners in the vicinity compared to what they were ahead of the April 2024 vote, where they didn't really have their ducks lined up. And look, it's easy to point at that and say that the Royals made a mistake there. I also think the fact that the city had a hand in forcing them to pivot from East Village, where they did very much have the properties assembled and their ducks in a row, to that crossroads site, only a few months before it became public, hamstrung the Royals in a sense as far as the preparation there. I think that's why it felt a little messy, because we were seeing it all come together in real time instead of buttoned up like we tend to do. And I think that's part of the frustration now. I think the Royals much prefer a buttoned up approach. I think that's why Asperia was attractive to them, even though it's nowhere near downtown, right? And it was a terrible site for a myriad other reasons. But the pro forma, the real estate, the tax, all the different aspects of that were really simple at the Asperia site. It's much more complicated anywhere else. But I think there's a path forward. I think the Royals would probably have to partner with some people. But there's some opportunities. There's some surface parking and stuff if you really dig into the area, where I do think there's some opportunities that are ripe for development if you get into it.
Todd, do you think this thing is starting to come to a close? Do you think, at least this is my hope, maybe this is not what I think, this is just my hope. I'm hopeful that by opening day of this year, the Royals have a special press conference in which they communicate to the community what the plan is and that they are moving forward exclusively to try to make a downtown stadium work. It has been 2 years. They have told us that 119th and all is not the plan anymore, and Clay County has been telling us now for 60 days they are not talking to the Royals. Missouri has communicated they want the Royals on this side of state line. The mayor has communicated that, and they seem prepared to give them what they want, which is the area to build a downtown stadium. Do you think we are coming to a close in this conversation?
My God, we better be. I texted that very question to a source who I've spoken with, throughout this process at various times. I actually asked if he thought we might hear something, before even spring training in a couple weeks, or if we were getting close to announcement. and I was told patience with a winky face emoji. And I said 3.5 years wasn't enough patience. And I do think that there's a chance that we're getting toward the end here. And I think one of the advantages of this site, especially, we've never really seen concrete details on the financing plan as far as that goes, but I think there's an opportunity if the city gets creative and if Port KC gets involved a little bit. What they're trying to do is avoid another vote. The Royals are, because they don't want to get embarrassed and because they feel like it'll be dicey. And I think the only site where that's even possible is that Washington Square Park site. So if something's coming without a vote, or we're going to get an announcement in the near term, it's almost certainly going to have to be Washington Square Park.
I actually feel like if the Royals put a good plan together, I think they would win a vote. I think a major reason why the vote failed the last time is their plan was just so haphazard and rushed that I just don't think in 2026 you can ask the public, who is being asked to pay for so many other things. I don't know if you can come to them with a half-assed plan the way that they did, but I still firmly feel, especially now with knowing you are going to lose the Chiefs, I still believe if the Royals went to the public with a solid, concrete plan about the future of Kauffman Stadium, I think people would support it. But it just sounds to me like at every turn, everybody keeps saying the Royals are not interested in that. They do not want to go back to the ballots.
No, yeah. I mean, it's a coin flip. And the reality is, the last time the lease agreement came up in 2004, it lost. And in 2006, they finally passed renovations. But that was a close vote too. These things have always been pretty close, except for, of course, April 2024 when it was a landslide no vote. But there's never really been a landslide yes vote. Certainly not in the last few iterations of these lease agreements. And so I think that's once bitten, twice shy a little bit. If there's a path forward and they don't have to, I don't think they will. But I certainly think the Royals have heard the fan unhappiness, and I think that they're frustrated that we don't have answers at this point too. I think they thought this would be an easier, cleaner process than it has proven to be. But I think we're in the backstretch.
I'll get you out of here with this, Todd. I know you're a happily married man. Did you know that Waffle House is having reservations for Valentine's Day night where they're going to dress the place up real nice? They're going to put tablecloths out. They got a special menu, candlelit dinner. Would you take your wife to Waffle House to celebrate Valentine's Day?
Listen, I'm not from the South. I have more of an appreciation for Waffle House than my wife does. She's also a pancake girl, so I mean, if I hot did something, I would have to listen, right? But especially if strawberries were involved. But Waffle House is probably going to be a no for me.
That is our guy, Todd Palmer, joining us on the show. Todd, man, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for what you said about Therese, man.
No problem. Y'all take care.
Absolutely, man. That's Todd Palmer joining us on the show. It's been a while since we had Todd Palmer on the show. I really like him, man. Shout out to him. Coming up at the top of the hour, we will reset things. Eric Bieniemy met with the media earlier today. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison and Rob Brenton.
You losers is what you are.
On your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Men, the new year is here, and if you're like many of us, you're ready to improve your health. But if you're feeling low energy, not sleeping well, or not seeing results in the gym, keeping that resolution can be tough. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if those symptoms sound familiar, we can likely help. They often point to low testosterone, and treating low T is what we do. But this year, we're also helping men go further with 4 targeted body composition plans featuring growth hormone peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more, designed to boost energy, support metabolism, enhance recovery, and accelerate fat loss. With our low T treatments combined with our body composition programs, most men notice real improvements. More energy, better focus, improved sleep, stronger workouts, and often a renewed sex drive as well. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on treatment the same day, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or visit heartlandmenshealth.com.
Feature therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
When the cold sets in across KC, AB May is the trusted name for keeping your home warm, safe, and secure. From furnace repairs to system replacements, we deliver reliable solutions and unmatched care and professionalism. Whether it's a sudden breakdown or routine maintenance, AB May is here to help. Trusted by generations of Kansas City homeowners, we're committed to doing things the right way every time. Call AB May at 913-732-9993 or visit us at abmay.com.
Call your serviceman from AB May.
DQ presents the Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy, bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ soft serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into soft serve. Plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's the limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy tastes good. Participation may vary.
What's up, everybody? I'm Nick Costos, and watching sports isn't a hobby, it's a lifestyle. And my show is not a job, it's a passion. From the NFL playoffs to the NBA and everything in between, celebrate sports with me every day on You Better You Bet from 9 a.m. to noon Eastern. Download the Odyssey app now and listen to Westwood One Sports from anywhere. It's You Better You Bet with me, Nick Costos, live and interactive Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern, presented by BetMGM.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter.
Well, good morning, kiddo. I love that you're home from college. I've missed you.
Still taking your nature-made vitamins?
Every day. A multivitamin and a probiotic. You better be taking yours.
Still looking out for me, Mom.
I'll never stop.
Made to care for you every day. Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Find us in the vitamin aisle, based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
The new era of UFC on Paramount Plus continues with UFC 325 live from Australia. Catch featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski in a rematch of his epic title fight against Diego Lopez, and the always dangerous Dan Hooker throws down with dynamic finisher Benoit Saint Denis in a high-action lightweight showdown. UFC fans, pay-per-view just got knocked out. Catch UFC 325 on Saturday, January 31st, only on Paramount Plus. Stream every fight live with one subscription. Visit ParamountPlus.com/UFC to get started.
Presented by Robinhood.
He crosses, spins, pulls up.
With Robinhood prediction markets, buy or sell your predictions all game long. No house odds, just you versus the market. Put your sports IQ to work. Trade every shot, block, steal, run, and moment that shifts the game. With Robinhood prediction markets, trade every play. Visit Robinhood.com/predict to start trading. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
Problem downtown, big backup, 70 eastbound. It's the on-ramp from Paseo, but there's a lot of onlooker delay. And then 635 northbound as you approach K5 south, it is the right lane blocked.
Welcome to your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
All right. I would like to play 2 pieces of audio for you guys before we get to the hits coming up at the top of the hour. Thing number 1 I would like to play for you is this week's version of Spec Says. And I think Spec Says this week is fairly interesting. I want to play it for you. It is about Giannis Antetokounmpo.
All right, so Giannis clearly wants out of Milwaukee. We have the Shams report. We have the coded messages from him the last 12 months. Giannis is done with Milwaukee. He's done with the Bucks organization. It's not an apples-to-apples comparison, but I do think there is a parallel between Giannis and Bobby Witt Jr. The one big difference, and it's a big difference, is that Giannis has the championship. And Bobby's very early in his career, and hopefully that championship comes in the next couple of years. But here's where the parallel starts. And this is the going rate for stars and smaller markets. If the organization doesn't support them with great talent around them or stability in the front office and the coaching staff, eventually that player is going to want to ask out. Now, Bobby is signed through, I think it's 2030, maybe it's 2031. And so far in his early tenure, outside of that 2023 season, the Royals have done a very good job of acquiring talent like Vinny Pasquantino and Cole Reagans and Michael Garcia. They have their manager for the next 5 years in Matt Quatrero. J.J. Piccolo seems to be pretty entrenched as general manager. So the spine of the Royals is in very, very good shape. The second part has to be about winning. And that doesn't mean making it to the divisional round and losing 4 games to the Yankees. You have to talk about ALCSs and World Series appearances. But eventually, stars always ask themselves, there's not much else I can do here, and the only way to truly get that ring on my finger is to go elsewhere. Same with a lot of people in their everyday lives and everyday jobs, minus obviously winning a sports championship. So I do think there is a parallel to Giannis and Bobby Witt Jr. because this is not an issue in hockey, and it's not an issue in the NFL, but it is an issue in smaller markets in the NBA and Major League Baseball where you control stars for 6 to 8 years in both those sports once they're drafted or signed. But after that, it's very hard to retain them for longer periods of time or even second, third contract extensions because the star starts to ask themselves, what else can I do here? I'm not saying that's going to happen with Bobby, but I think it's an interesting parallel with the Giannis story.
Rob, I'm curious what you think about this. I don't think that Speck is that far off. I mean, if you were looking at it, the Royals have 5 more years of club control of Bobby Witt Jr. Now, I don't think that Bobby Witt Jr. is asking for a trade in 2028, but this is another part of the conversation that we have not discussed. You want to know when Bobby can opt out? You know what year he could opt out? 2031. You know what that coincides with the Royals? Their new stadium. If you are the Royals, you need to be doing everything that you can because Bobby holds all of the cards. Bobby can easily opt out. You will have paid him 7 years, $140 million. And the rest of the money that he is going to opt out of, no one thinks that Bobby at 30 years old will not be able to get another heavy bag from somebody. Maybe it comes from the Royals. Maybe it comes from the Cardinals. Maybe it comes from the Yankees. I don't know. But the player that's currently playing shortstop for the Royals, he will have no shortage of suitors coming up in 5 years at 30 years old if he wants to hit free agency. So the spirit of what Speck is saying, I don't really know how anybody could disagree with it. If you're a once-in-a-generation kind of player, if you're one of the marquee guys like Bobby Witt Jr. is, yes, there is absolutely a pressure from the organization. You need to be doing everything in your power to keep that person happy. You need to be doing everything in your power to show that person that we are doing everything we can to build a championship, and we want to build a championship with you as the centerpiece of what we are doing. I don't really know how you can disagree with what this week's Spec says.
I feel like Spec says this week is dead on. I agree with you. Now, I would say baseball and basketball aren't exactly the same as far as contract structures and things of that nature. Like the NBA has the mechanism designed to keep homegrown players better than Major League Baseball does. So in theory, the Bucks could have kept Giannis if he was happy longer than in theory Bobby Witt Jr. could have stayed in Kansas City. I also think building around a Giannis in basketball is different than building around a Bobby in baseball. But I think he makes a good point in the comparison because up until 18 months ago, Giannis seemed content. He was happy. Every time he talked, it was all good in Milwaukee. Hey, there's no problems. Hey, I don't mind the small market. We're winning. We're competitive. He was elated when Dame came over. Like he was all the things. Bobby's all the things now. And if I asked a Bucks fan, up in Milwaukee 18 months ago, hey, do you think Giannis will ever request a trade? I'm sure they'd say, no, he's as happy as can be. So I think the equivalent's good because things happen fast. Right now, Bobby's content and happy. I don't think that's going away anytime soon, but I think he's content and happy because the team is competitive right now every year.
For sure, but I think a major difference is Giannis started to get more and more unhappy when the end of his contract started coming up. Giannis is only under contract for another season and a half. So if you're looking at it, I gave this organization all of my 20s. I am now in my 30s. And realistically, how much more time do you think you and I believe that Giannis has to be one of those kind of guys where he's one of those kind of players? So again, I understand the differences in it. Giannis already has one championship. Bobby's 26 years old, so he's still got a ways to go in this. But yeah, there's absolutely a pressure for the Royals over the next 4-5 seasons. You need to do everything in your power so when you are moving into a beautiful new stadium, wherever that stadium is, Bobby can opt out every year for 4 seasons, Bobby has an opt-out at 31, 32, 33, and 34. He doesn't have to demand a trade. He could just wake up one day and say, I don't want to play on this team anymore. He's got 4 straight years of opt-out opportunities. So, yeah, it is in the Royals' best interest to be competitive if they feel like they got one of the top guys, and with the amount of control that he has in the second half of his career. He has already signed up for the first portion of this. He has not signed up for the second portion of this. And if you're looking at the money-wise of it, in 2031, it's making $35 million, $35 million, $35 million. I would say at that point, we're going to feel like Bobby Witt Jr. is underpaid. So he can go to them with the leverage of, you guys need to renegotiate my contract or I am going to opt out. Or I could just opt out and I'll go play for whatever team I want to, and I can just choose when I hit free agency. So I do think there are some similarities between the two. I would like to play this audio for you guys because I want to just take you into a glimpse of my morning routine. I don't know how this started, but Rob, for the last couple of weeks, I have started my morning with random positive stories on YouTube. It's something about when I just wake up, and I'm not listening to music. I'm not listening to a podcast. I'm not scrolling social media. I just have my YouTube algorithm right now. I just want to hear good, positive news stories. I want to play for you my favorite one that I've watched so far this week. I had not heard of this story. Now, it's a little bit of an older story. I don't care. Rob, I don't know if you ever heard this before. I had never heard that until yesterday morning. Listen to this story about this 82-year-old woman.
And here she is. Willie Murphy, in her own words.
The young man is in my home, broke the door. And you know what? It's kind of semi-dark, and I'm alone, and I'm old, but guess what? I'm tough. And you want to know what happens? He picked the wrong house to break into. I took that table, and I went to working on him, and guess what? The table broke. And it had metal legs, and I'm jugging him, jugging him, jugging him. And when he's down, I'm jumping on him. And the telephone is still on for 911. I'm running in the kitchen. There's a bottle of baby shampoo on the table. I grabbed the shampoo, and guess what? He's still on the ground, in his face, all of it, the whole thing. And he's trying to get up, and he's pulling. And I got the broom, and he's pulling the broom, and I'm hitting him. I'm hitting him with the broom, hitting him. And guess what? He wants to get the heck out of there, and I'm trying to help him get out of the house, but he's too heavy. I can't move him. He's dead weight. And at that time, the police arrive on the porch, and the house is already open, so they come in. He's laying down already, because I had really did a number on that man. I'm serious.
Yo. This is how I started my day yesterday. I'm telling you, we need more positive news stories. Did you hear the way that woman told that story? Now, number one, don't run in anybody's house trying to rob people. Why are you trying to rob people? Like, why are you doing that? Rob, that man went in and tried. He probably thought, oh, this is going to be an easy lick. She old. She maybe got some jewelry, little money under the mattress. You know, you thought you about to come up. Next thing you know, she put a table, ladders, and chairs, hardcore match, ass whooping on you. The way she was describing it. She hit you with a chair. She hit you with the metal legs of it. She was hitting you with the broom. She put shampoo all in your eyes. Oh my goodness. I just wanted to share that story with you guys. I'm telling you, spend a little bit of time in your morning just watching positive news. There's enough negative news. You don't have to really search out negative news. Just look up positive news stories. And I'm telling you, it's going to put you in a good mood to start your day. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan. Here's your traffic report on 96.5, The Fan.
We've got a stall down in Olathe that'll slow you down. 35 southbound, it is just past Old 56 Highway. Scoot to the left through here. Downtown, that's a stall. 70 eastbound, it's the on-ramp from Paseo. Very slow. Let's see, 35 northbound at Bedford. Right lane blocked. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Well, it's the last call for football on FanDuel. One final Sunday, one final kickoff, your final chance to place your bets before the NFL season closes its tab. This is the 60th Super Bowl, and FanDuel is making sure that you're in on it. If you're a new customer, bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if you win. So whether you're backing the favorite, maybe you're riding with the underdog, or you're building that last same-game parlay. So whether you're betting the spread, who's going to win MVP, or who you think's going to find the end zone, FanDuel's got you covered for this year's Super Bowl. Make it count, because after the Super Bowl, it's done. Finito. So it's your last call for football this season on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. And visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel Sportsbook, America's #1 sportsbook and the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued non-withdrawal bonus by 7th Street. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Straight Talk presents The Math of More. Here's how it works. When you say yes to more with Straight Talk, you're left with more for all the other good stuff. So getting an unlimited plan starting at just $25 a month equals more savings for your family's weekend adventures. And with a network covered by Verizon, you can share more from wherever you go. It's simple math, really. More equals more with Straight Talk. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Taxes and fees apply. The $25 plan requires a compatible unlocked device and a new line of service. Additional terms apply.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Straight Talk presents The Math of More. Here's how it works. When you say yes to more with Straight Talk, you're left with more for all the other good stuff. So getting an unlimited plan starting at just $25 a month equals more savings for your family's weekend adventures. And with a network covered by Verizon, you can share more from wherever you go. It's simple math, really. More equals more with Straight Talk. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Taxes and fees apply. The $25 plan requires a compatible unlocked device and a new line of service. Additional terms apply.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure what the best option is? Selling a home, especially when dealing with foreclosure, divorce, job relocation, or an inherited property, can feel overwhelming. That's why I don't just make offers. I help homeowners understand all their options so they can make the right choice with no pressure and no obligation. I'm Rex, a local homebuyer and resident right here in Kansas City. Whether you're looking for a fast cash sale or just want to explore your choices, I'll walk you through the pros and cons of selling to me or listing with an agent. If selling directly is your best move, I'll offer you a fair cash price and a closing timeline that fits your needs in as little as 7 days or on your schedule. No repairs, no commissions, no hidden fees. Just a transparent, hassle-free process so you know exactly what to expect. Let's talk. Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com for a free, no-pressure consultation. Rex Buys KC, helping homeowners make informed decisions with confidence.
Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch all your favorite shows, shorts, and clips. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Congratulations on getting through your 9 to 5. Thank you so much for listening. It is The Drive. My name is Carrington Harrison. Rob Brenton is here, taking you up until 6 o'clock. We got a lot to get into in today's show. Earlier today, Eric Bieniemy was officially announced as the Chiefs' new offensive coordinator. And let me tell you, the vibes were high today during the press conference. Here is EB talking about how excited he is to get back to work with Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce.
A small minimum conversation with both, and they all have been great. But more than anything, it's just the excitement of just reuniting. You know, it was just like when I came here, we came out here and we played them in the preseason. It was great seeing those guys. because I haven't seen them in years. And so it just feels good just to sit down and have conversations with guys. And to be honest, I have not talked any football or anything. It's just the excitement of just seeing each other, asking how they're doing, and making sure everything is good moving forward. But is the excitement high? Yes. Am I fired up? Yes. Do I respect the hell out of both those guys? Yes. So I'm looking forward to getting back in the grind and chopping wood with them.
I thought you could hear today in the press conference, it is very, very apparent to me why players like EB, why players like playing for Eric Bieniemy and want him to have success. I thought you could hear it. Even when we were kids, I think we always had the ability to feel what teachers really wanted the best for us, which teachers really wanted to challenge us, which teachers really wanted us to be our best, which of our teachers really cared. Like, we could identify this when we were kids. I think you were able to identify this as you get older. We have all had bosses that you don't think were very much invested in seeing you grow in the company. And you've had bosses that you do feel like that. They want to put you in good situations. They want you to get raises. They want you to move up and progress inside the company. I think it is obvious the more and more you hear Eric Bieniemy speak, I can see how he relates really well to the players and why. When we talked to two different players today, while the guys that played for EB have very positive things to say about him, we had friend of the show, Mitchell Schwartz, on the show earlier. Here's what he had to say about EB.
Again, what Bieniemy's bringing is that accountability, is the loud voice that's going to be on guys from the start of practice to the end of practice when he needs to. It's not like he's doing that all the time to everybody. I think he picks and chooses when he does that. I don't think you're ever going to see EB get on Creed Humphrey or Trey Smith because those guys bring it every single play of a practice. But are there guys that are younger that are going to need that? Is Josh Simlin someone who is going to respond to a guy in his ear? I don't know. I don't know the way Josh likes to be coached, but if that's something that he likes, that's a different style of coaching than what Coach Heck is going to bring or Coach Reed. So I think there is the positive from that aspect. And then the other thing is he obviously is a former running back, but he's very good with blitz stuff. And that's not something that the Chiefs have necessarily struggled with the last few years with how good they are at game planning, with how good Pat is at recognizing stuff. But he is very good at blitz protection and blitz pickup. So you're bringing in someone who, again, has now had some influence from another top coordinator. But what he can bring to picking up those blitzes on critical third down, some different ideas on how to defeat maybe some of the cover zero stuff, some of the disguised looks that we're seeing across the league, I think can be another benefit as well.
I know that I have been labeled as the guy who is very anti-Eric Bieniemy, but I do think in talking to players, hearing people, I think regardless of what side of the argument that you were on, and there are more people on the side of very happy the EB's back, pro EB, I get that. That's sports talk radio. I think all sides agree on what his strengths are, and those strengths are really, really important strengths to have. I think that this press conference really highlighted, A, why you would be excited about this, or I think if you were on my side and you were maybe more in the I wish the Chiefs had gone in another direction, I also think the press conference kind of highlighted that part of it too. I want to play one more cut for you guys. Here is Jeff Allen, who also played under Eric Bieniemy. Here he is talking about what it's like to be coached by EB.
It's amazing. I know a lot of people have some takes with him, but I think anybody who's ever played for him, majority of guys love the guy. He's obviously an old school type of guy, hard coaching, but at the same time, he shows love. That's why you can appreciate it, because he's going to be him no matter who he's dealing with. Some guys, they have a certain style depending on the player they're dealing with. He's going to hold everybody accountable, so you can appreciate it.
Rob, you'll like this. You want to know who told me this quote? Ed Fritz told me this quote. Shout out to Ed Fritz, legendary high school basketball coach. Coaches high school in North Kansas City now. He told me this. He said, it is really easy to lead people if you can get them to believe that you care about them and what happens to them. And then I thought about it. I was like, oh, you're right. I think EB does a really good job of the balance. I think EB can be tough on you, can challenge you, can hold you accountable, but can also do it from a place of love and respect and not demeaning to you as a grown man. And I think that's a really, really hard line. Like, I think there's a lot of coaches that kind of do the things that you guys are talking about. Accountable, red ass, all of the things that we have said about EB. I think that's what Todd Haley is, for example. I don't think that players receive that as you are doing this from a place of love and respect, and there's mutual respect on both sides. That's where I think EB is really good. I also think in this conversation, though, I also think the negatives of EB and why I'm not maybe super excited about this hire, I also think they came out. He was asked a question by Vahe. Vahe said, hey, your other experiences getting a chance to kind of run your own show. Because you remember, that was a big criticism the last time he was here. EB, you've never called plays. You've been carried by Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. We got to see you go do it. And he talked about the importance of creativity in those scenarios. He failed. I know you guys have come up with all the reasons in the world and why he failed. He failed because of this. He failed. When he was given the task of go do it by yourself, he failed. But I also think you heard a tone in this of, hey, I tried to go be Justin Timberlake and I realized I'm not him. I tried to go be Beyonce and I realized I'm not him. I wanted to be Gwen Stefani. Nobody knows the other two people in No Doubt. No clue. Rob, do you know the other two people in Black Eyed Peas other than Fergie and will.i.am? No, I couldn't identify those people to save my life. I don't know who they are. I don't know their names. But somebody has to be JC. JC was really important in NSYNC. Somebody has to be Kelly Rowland. Somebody has to do all the other things. And I think over the last couple of years, I think EB has maybe realized I'm not going to be a head coach. Maybe I'm not the creative, innovative play caller type. But what I can be is I can be a great voice and a great advocate for the players. I also can challenge the players and hold them accountable and get them to respond to me. And that person absolutely has a role. That person is a big reason of why the Bears running game is what it was this past season. We've seen what he's done in the running game. So if you were telling me that of all the things that we think that EB could possibly do or not do in a Chiefs uniform, if you were telling me that Andy will listen to him when it comes to the run game and trust his evaluation of who they need to pick up, and that is going to take pressure off Patrick Mahomes, you can sell me on that. Yes, I wanted the Chiefs to go find the 38-year-old innovative next up. That is not the direction that they went. But having a guy that the players respect, having a guy that the players respond well to and will receive coaching from, that's not a bad option at offensive coordinator. That's not what I would have done, but that's not a bad option at OC.
I think, and now listen, I like the hire, so I'm asking you this question as someone who was more down on the hire. Do you think this text kind of sums up how Chiefs fans who are down on the hire should feel? The text comes in. I can't say I was excited about the EB hire, but I'm optimistic because of what he's done in the past. Is that a fair breakdown now, having heard this press conference? Because you listened like I listened start to finish. And if you want to listen to it, it's on our podcast page now if you're a listener. Is it fair to say someone who was not excited, you didn't throw a parade that EB was back, is it fair to say, though, you are optimistic it can get back to what it was because of what you were hearing, the relationship with Travis, all the stuff today?
I was never pessimistic about it, but I think this next text, sums it up. I want an OC, not a counselor. Every word that is described about EB, and I'm not even trying to be funny, every word that you would describe about EB is what you would describe as being a really good 6th grade hall monitor. What are the characteristics you think you need to be a good class president? That is the words I've heard described. I've not heard creative. I've not heard innovative. I've not heard scheme. I've not really heard much of those words to describe them. So it does to me, and this part still seems to be true. This is not me even being negative on EB. It sounds to me like that's why they got him. They didn't get him for his innovative ideas. They didn't get him for his creativity. They got him because Pat and the guys respond really well to him. Maybe this is an area that they have noticed over the years as something that they have seen diminished, and they trusted EB. I think they picked EB a long time ago. I do not believe this was an extensive search. I do not believe that over the last month, Andy and Brett Veach have been going around the league to interview people to find out who the best fit was. I think they went to their trusty Rolodex and they had an opening. I don't think a lot of people were considered for the job. And they like EB. They know EB. They know his skill set. They brought him back. And one of my other big fears about EB is we got to go back completely is I just don't want them to have that philosophy everywhere. This team needs a veteran wide receiver. I mean, Hollywood Brown's a veteran wide receiver. They know him. He knows the system. He knows the scheme. Is that their plan at wide receiver, which is to bring back Hollywood Brown this season? A big reason of why I'm against this is after all fall of saying, I want new, I want different, the Chiefs have done the same thing. This was the most unsurprising move ever. They were always going to hire either Brian Daboll or Eric Bieniemy to be their offensive coordinator. So, but that's one move. But they have not done anything that surprises you or shocks you or catches you by a loop. So I just don't want that to be the theme of the offseason. I want to be shocked. I want there to be a plot twist in the story. I want to think it's going to go one way and go somewhere else. So that's also why I was just not super sold on this idea.
That's fair. And you're right. We don't have to relitigate what we've already talked about. I will continue to say, let's just see. I'm someone like you. I want new and I want different. I don't want Juju back because Juju knows the system. I don't want Hollywood Brown back because maybe we can get the most out of him. I don't want Isaiah Pacheco or Kareem Hunt back just because, hey, they know the system. I'm with you personnel-wise. They're 0 for 1 on playing the hits. But I would tell you, they're 0 for 1. I think the leap you made, and some people have made, is because they went 0 for 1, I'm now scared they're going to go 0 for 7. I want to see the next 6 at-bats.
I don't think they're going to go 0 for 7. I just think the Chiefs have a theme. And I'm saying is they had a couple of big decisions. Big decision number one, they did what they've always done. So, I mean, I think you and I could probably map out the offseason if we really, really want to think about it. And if you and I made 10 predictions for what the Chiefs are going to do, you and I are not going 1 for 10. I think I go 7 for 10, 8 for 10. They are very, very predictable. They are super predictable. They go to the same restaurants. They wake up at the same time every morning. They got the same routine. This is following the same routine they've been following, and that has been great. They won a lot of games, a lot of Super Bowls. They have been the organization. Maybe, just maybe, this year the season went the way that it did is because everybody else is catching up with, we know exactly the routine. Whenever we do this, we know exactly how the Chiefs are going to respond. You're right. It's just one move. I don't want to overreact to one move. They still got a lot more decisions to make. Let's see how they handle the rest of the moves. All right, Rob, let's get to the hits.
Your workday is over.
Oh, yeah.
You're headed home, and now you're stuck in traffic. Time to get caught up on the biggest stories in Kansas City and around the country with CDOT and Rob. It's time for the hits. Number 1.
Carrington Harrison hits brought to you by Baker University. Make your next era orange at Baker University, the first university in Kansas, and ranked number 1 in return on investment among private universities in the state. Baker University, forever in our orange era.
Somebody on the text line says, CDOT, what about if they brought in DeAndre Hopkins instead of Juju? Is that too much of a retread? If that's the direction that the Chiefs are going this offseason, I will have a meltdown at some point. And you guys will say that I'm overreacting. If that's the direction that they're going to go in their offense and continue to get older and slower on offense, there's going to be a really uncomfortable day if that's the way they're thinking. So I hope not. I wish DeAndre Hopkins nothing but love. I wish DeAndre Hopkins, he's been done for 24 months. I don't want DeAndre Hopkins anywhere near Kansas City. Nowhere. Please do not bring DeAndre Hopkins back.
Here's the you know what? This show loves dating analogies. So
I love it. That's my favorite thing to make.
I'll give you it's a married analogy. But
I wake up every day thinking of new dating analogies for this show.
Here's the and you said the routine. So here's the analogy I'll make. The Chiefs are the old married couple that every Friday night they go to the same restaurant, they order the same stuff, and they have a great Friday night. They always go to that local place. They get their favorite burger and fries. They get their favorite app to share. They both get their favorite cocktails. They know, hey, the bartender knows us, the waiter knows us. We know the place to go. We love our neighborhood spot. And they've been going there for 5 years of happily married bliss. Last year, the restaurant closed. And now they have to find a new routine. Now, they can either A, go to a spot that serves the exact same stuff and try to recreate the magic they had, which is what me and you are fearful of, or they can change. They've been going to a burger spot for 5 years. Every Friday night. Try pizza. Try Chinese food. Maybe go to Italian now. What I don't want the Chiefs to do is, it worked for 5 years, failed for 1. Let's see if we can go back to the well. They need to be different. I'm just willing to be patient on, let's see when they actually start being different. I agree with you, though. DeAndre Hopkins would not be different. That would be, it'd be like saying,
the same.
I don't want Diet Coke. Here's Diet Coke caffeine free. No, that's still Diet Coke. That's the same.
Okay. No, someone on the text line says, map it out. Give us your, I will have that tomorrow at 5 o'clock. I will come up with my 10 predictions. I do want credit. Do I get credit for, I think we all knew that their offensive coordinator was going to be one of three people. It was either going to be Mike Kafka, Brian Dable, or Eric Bieniemy. Does that count for one of my 10 of getting it right? Because we never thought they were hiring somebody outside of those three individuals. Do I get credit for that?
Yes, but I also think everyone gets credit for that one.
I agree, but I'm saying
they telegraphed that one.
I think all of us would be able to come up with a very, very similar list. So I'm asking, if we're gonna, I will happily do this tomorrow at 5 o'clock. I will absolutely give you the 10 things I feel very strongly they will do this offseason. I just want to know if we get credit for the first thing, because we all thought they were going to hire these three people, and and we don't know anybody else they interviewed other than one of those people. It's not like they interviewed 10 different people and picked these people. They won't even tell us who else they interviewed, and they hired one of those three people. So that absolutely counts for one of the things. So I will happily play this game with you guys tomorrow. Happily play this game. Can't wait to play this game tomorrow.
I mean this is an insult to the Chiefs and not you. If you go 7 for 10, this show will be. If you go 7 for 10, I'm telling you right now, April. If you're a Chiefs fan, this show's not for you. just I'm getting ahead of it.
I mean, I'll tell you right now. I actually think they're going to get Breece Hall. I think day one of free agency they're getting Breece Hall. I can tell you exactly why.
Is it because he's local? I mean, local adjacent.
I think that's part of it.
Wichita.
Well, I would say they've always shown us there are like 100 players that they like, and then when they finally get a chance to get that player, they normally strike with that player. Whenever they got DeAndre Hopkins, it's not like it caught us off guard. We knew they liked DeAndre Hopkins. They brought DeAndre Hopkins in for a visit. They brought him in for a visit. He ended up taking the Tennessee contract. The next time he was available, they went out and they made a move for him. We know the Chiefs offered a deal for Breece Hall this offseason. We know they called and offered a draft pick, and the Jets would not waver off what they want. But now that you can get that player with no draft pick attached to it, I think they go back to the well. And I'm looking at what I think a contract for him could potentially look like, and I know you will disagree because you just don't ever want to play running backs. I think the Chiefs have to see what I see when it comes to the National Football League about players and how you can invest and investing in the running game. I have absolutely no problem signing a running back to this James Cook contract. This James Cook contract is one of the best contracts for a productive player in the league. He signed a 4-year, $46 million deal. He got a $9 million signing bonus. He got $28 million guaranteed. His cap hit for 2 years is $5.4 million and $5.8 million, which counts for less than 2% of your cap for each of these 2 seasons. Now, it goes up a little bit in 2027. Not like it's some tremendous cap hit. It's $13 million. But you also get the ability to get out of his contract every year after that. So at 28, 29, and 30, at any point that you want to either renegotiate with James Cook or get out of James Cook contract, you can. This is a great contract. We know the Chiefs love to take major swings on day one of free agency. We can go through the last 6 years, and I can show you every time, first day of free agency, they want to be in the news. They got Jawan Taylor day one of free agency. They got Jalen Moore first day of free agency. They got Justin Reed first day of free agency. They got Tyrann Mathieu first day of free agency. They are going to do something on day one. I don't think there's a player realistically that fits what they want to do more than Breece Hall. So I will tell you right now, one of my things is I'm telling you they're going to do this offseason. The Chiefs are going to get Breece Hall.
Now, let me ask you this, because I think Breece Hall is an interesting name, and I pulled this up. Our friends at Spot Track, which, by the way, our friends at Spot Track will be on the show tomorrow at 2:15. Mike Giannetti, our favorite.
We can ask him about this contract.
We can, because Spot Track's projection for Breece Hall this offseason is a 4-year, $41 million contract. Are you giving now?
Yes, I would.
It's a projection, so they don't get into the nitty gritty of like it's it's different than James Cook. But 4 years, $41 million for Breece Hall, you would?
Yeah, I would absolutely, and not hesitate for it.
Me and you just differ on the position.
Just hesitate.
Just
like,
differ on
and
the
I will
position.
say this on the text line. Someone says, CDOT, you can't celebrate getting EB right. That was too obvious. That's like preseason betting Mahomes over and then celebrating you get it right. I would say that the Chiefs haven't done anything that have surprised us since they traded Tyreek Hill. They have not made a single move that we have come on here and been like, I cannot believe they've done that in 4 years. So, yeah, I mean, all of these things I think are going to be very obvious kind of moves that they're going to do. They do the obvious, which sometimes is great. But there's a reason why whenever Mike Pennell is available, we all know, oh, he's coming back. Like, it ain't like when Mike Pennell was like, oh, I can't believe they brought back Mike Pennell. They normally do the obvious. It's not that hard to spot what they're going to do if you pay attention. Like, I have to pay attention to it. So, yeah, last year at the deadline, they were very interested in Breece Hall. He's now available. You can get him, I would say, for a pretty reasonable contract. I would say better than any wide receiver you could potentially get. There is not a player I think fits their free agency better than I think Breece Hall does realistically. And I would say another reason why I feel so strongly about Breece Hall is there's not a defensive lineman that you can sign day one that you think improves your pass rush that you would consider to be a big swing like this. This is not a great year for pass rush like that. It's like there isn't that guy that you just think via free agency. You could always make a trade or something like that. Like you got Frank Clark via trade. But I'm talking day one spending money. There is not a better player I think they could spend money on where you think what they're going to cost and bang for buck is going to equal. Like Alec Pierce ain't costing $44 million. Alec Pierce is getting $82 million. I don't think they're taking that big of a swing on offense. But if you got Breece Hall right now, I think you can argue that Breece Hall will be their best offensive player.
Now, we can do the prediction again tomorrow. I know it's a break. Do you know what name I think they actually could be signing on the first day of free agency? Jalen Phillips. Jalen Phillips, another guy they were attached to last year at the trade deadline, or at least we know they kicked the tires on Jalen Phillips before the Eagles swooped in and signed Jalen Phillips. And then once he showed up in Philadelphia, he was productive. Like, we were anti the idea of trading for Jalen Phillips. I mean, he wasn't super productive, but he was a productive player.
I'd rather have Breece Hall if this is what we're going to do.
Also, Jalen Phillips is a more premium position. He would be a guy that, again, it's the 100 players that they like outside of their team. I could see.
Are we
Jalen
breaking
Phillips
the bank? Pull up Spot Track real quick. How much are they saying Jalen Phillips is going to go for? Because I'm looking at Jalen Phillips right now. He had 5 sacks last year in 17 games. He had 5 sacks last year. That's the guy that I'm advocating for them to just go swing big and pay this offseason? That's break the bank guy? They already got him. That's George Karlaftis.
Spot Track has it at 3 years, $52 million.
You paying that for a guy who had 5 sacks last year in a contract year nonetheless? He had 5 sacks in a contract year.
You're asking me if I'd rather pay $50 million for an edge rusher versus 40 for a running back? Come on now.
I mean, I think Breece Hall would be. I mean, Breece Hall.
I'd rather pay Jalen Phillips, use the save money, and sign Kenneth Gainwell. Brett, if you're listening, I know you're a listener. You outside of the whole Trey Smith fiasco, you're a big listener.
No, he definitely listens.
Go ahead and sign Jalen Phillips on day one. Get that 3 for 52 locked in, and then let's get Kenneth Gainwell on board. That's the Rob plan.
So you have Jalen Phillips as their big swing.
I have Jalen Phillips as their big swing. He does count same as Breece Hall. They kick the tires on him.
That's their big swing. Okay.
If it's him and David Bailey next year on the edge, you excited?
Their big swing is a guy that had 8.5 sacks. Their big swing is a guy who has gotten less sacks in every season since his rookie year. That's their big swing this year. And a guy, what I would say, a significant injury history. He played in 8 games in 2023, he played in 4 games in 2024, and then followed up and had 5 sacks. That's their big swing on defense this year? Okay, all right, let's see.
To be fair, the big swing is a guy who had regression from his rookie year in Breece Hall, and at the same...
I mean, I don't know how any running back can have success in a team where their leading wide receiver had 400 yards. The Jets' leading wide receiver had 400 yards receiving. You ain't running for 1,500 yards in that offense. Not at all, if that is the case. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan.
At Casey's, when someone asked for a cup of coffee that wouldn't put them in debt, but still had freshly ground beans, rich flavor, and a price that starts with a 9 and ends with a D9 cents, we were too nice to say no. Now get a small coffee just 99 cents. Limited time only. See store for details.
Steve here with Connolly Plumbing Solutions. Our January special. Auger your main drain or branch line for only $99 per hour. That's $100 off. This includes a camera inspection with mainline work. Visit ConnollyPlumbingSolutions.com to schedule.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hardworking partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Straight Talk presents the math of more. Here's how it works. When you say yes to more with Straight Talk, you're left with more for all the other good stuff. So getting an unlimited plan starting at just $25 a month equals more savings for your family's weekend adventures. And with a network covered by Verizon, you can share more from wherever you go. It's simple math, really. More equals more with Straight Talk. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Taxes and fees apply. The $25 plan requires a compatible unlocked device and a new line of service. Additional terms apply.
So, you're ready to propose, huh?
Yeah, man. She's definitely the one.
What are we thinking about the ring? I got my wife's at Hellsberg. I couldn't recommend a better jeweler.
I could use some help with that.
Man, go to Hellsberg. I had no idea how many details you need to consider. Did you know you can get a natural or lab-grown diamond? I didn't. Figure out what she wants. Trust me, they'll make it happen.
Start your story with Hellsberg. Shop in store or at hellsberg.com.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hardworking partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Straight Talk presents the math of more. Here's how it works. When you say yes to more with Straight Talk, you're left with more for all the other good stuff. So getting an unlimited plan starting at just $25 a month equals more savings for your family's weekend adventures. And with a network covered by Verizon, you can share more from wherever you go. It's simple math, really. More equals more with Straight Talk. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Taxes and fees apply. The $25 plan requires a compatible unlocked device and a new line of service. Additional terms apply.
That's another amazing run by Team USA.
Mom, think I'll be on Team USA one day?
Well, I'll take this one.
What? Are you speaking to us?
Yes, and to answer your question, anything's possible, especially with Xfinity.
So, I can be the best snowboarder ever?
Well, I can't guarantee that, but Xfinity can guarantee that your internet price won't change for 5 years.
Okay. What if I practice every day?
Then maybe you'll be snowboarding for Team USA at the next Olympic Winter Games. And Mom, you'll still be paying the same price for Wi-Fi.
Ooh, really stuck the landing there.
It's the Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get our best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed, just $50 a month. Plus, get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. That's a $10.99 value per month. Xfinity. Imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
We've got a stall down in Olathe that'll slow you down. 35 southbound, it is just past Old 56 Highway. Scoot to the left through here. Downtown, that's a stall. 70 eastbound, it's the on-ramp from Paseo. Very slow. Let's see, 35 northbound at Bedford. Right lane blocked. I'm down with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's Trent McDuffie from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, I want to play a couple of pieces of audio for you guys. The first piece of audio is related to K-State. Now, I want to play this because I think it is obvious to everybody that this Jerome Tang thing is not going to work out. It's not working out for me. It's not working out for you. It's not working out for K-State. But ultimately, I'm not a K-State fan. So if they're fine with what's going on in Manhattan, hey, cool. Who am I to stop them? You know, I'm not going out there. I don't donate to their program. I don't buy tickets. Hey, if you guys are fine being a bad basketball program, hey, you guys are doing a bang-up job if that's what you're trying to do. So Rob found this audio from the 3 Mall podcast. Shout out to our guy, John Kurtz. Shout out to Derek Young, too. 2 friends of the show. This is what Derek Young had to say about Kansas State basketball.
Staring down the barrel of a third straight missed NCAA tournament, which is exactly what happened with Bruce Weber that ultimately got him fired. So I understand the conversation, but if there's a buyout there that can't be negotiated down, like if they truly want to do it, it requires $18.7 million. I just don't think that's financially responsible in this climate where K-State is already really, really tightly strapped when it comes to the financial limitations and the budgets and everything like that, because you have to pay the players. You're still operating everything the way you did before. You just hired a new football coach, a new coaching staff that also wants resources to win at the highest level. So if it requires $18.7 million to do it, I just think that's financially irresponsible at the moment.
You know what? I'm not here to argue with them. If K-State feels like that's too much money, we don't have it, we're going to roll the dice one more year with Jerome Tang, that's well within their right. I think it is then fair to come to the conclusion that you guys are not serious about basketball then, if that's the case. I'm also just trying to wonder, and I don't even mean this as a shot towards K-State, is their football program so good? Like, for all the money they're talking about, they won 6 games this last year. And they got a bad basketball team. I mean, you're getting terrible ROI if you are investing in K-State athletics in 2025. You got a bad investment. I'm with it. You had to hire a new coach. You had to go re-up all of these pieces. The schedule's favorable. Hey, I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic. I'm Emaw. I don't know how you can justify keeping this. Their best season, their best player was a holdover from the old regime. 3 straight years of missing the NCAA tournament, and you guys, it's not like they're even on the bubble. I mean, they were eliminated from the NCAA tournament by the time we got to conference play. I don't know how, in good faith, you can go around and ask people to sign up for season tickets or invest in NIL endeavors if Jerome Tang is still coaching in 2026, 2027. I don't know how you can do that. But again, I try to mind my own business. So, K-State, if that's what you guys want to do, I'm here to allow you to do that. I want you to be happy. I really do. I want you to be happy. And if Jerome Tang makes you happy, then good luck. I hope it continues to work out for you guys in the way that you would like. Another top story is Bill Belichick. You guys, I'm sure by now you have heard, Bill Belichick was up for the Hall of Fame. He was not voted into the Hall of Fame. Everybody has gone mad. Here is Tom Brady talking about it.
I don't understand it. I mean, I was with him every day. If he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, there's really no coach that should ever be a first ballot Hall of Famer, which is completely ridiculous because people deserve it. And he's incredible. There's no coach I'd ever want to play. I'd rather play for. If I'm picking one coach to go out there to win a Super Bowl, give me one season, I'm taking Bill Belichick. So that's enough said. There's nothing outside of that. You know, again, when it comes down to votes and, you know, popularity and all that, like, you know, then welcome to the world of voting. And you may as well go, you know, try out for the Oscars or whatever and, you know, get a big panel to tell you if you're good or not. So it's the way it works, and that's unfortunately, he's going to get into the Hall of Fame. In the end, I'm not worried about that. And a lot of times in life, for all of us, things don't happen exactly how you want them on your timeline, but we'll all be there to celebrate him when it does happen. And he's going to have a huge turnout from so many players, coaches that appreciated everything that he did and the commitment that he made to winning and the impact that he had on all our lives. And that'll be a great celebration when it happens.
As weird as this may sound, and Mitchell Short said this earlier when he was on the show, this is the best thing that has happened for Bill Belichick in 18 months. We were mocking and making fun of Bill Belichick for the last year. We've been making fun of him. We were making fun about how bad their football team was. We've been making fun of him about his girlfriend. We have been collectively, as a football community, mocking Bill. And then this happened. And somehow, for the first time in 30 years, Bill Belichick is a sympathetic figure. People feel bad for Bill. Bill's a Hall of Famer. I'm excited to have Vahe on the show tomorrow. I love and respect Vahe. Vahe is the nicest person that I've ever met doing this job. I cannot wait to hear his logic and rationale for why he did not vote for Bill Belichick into the Hall of Fame. And if that means that he will not vote for him every single time that he is up. Because that's one part of this to me as well. If your stance is, I will never vote for Bill Belichick because he's a cheater, I might disagree with you, but that at least makes sense to me. But if you were doing this on a one-year trial basis, I just don't want him to have the honor of saying he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I'm going to show him discipline. I don't think that's the purpose of the Hall of Fame. I don't think the reasoning for the Hall of Fame is I don't think it's your responsibility to deal out punishment and discipline. I think that's the NFL's job, and they've already penalized the Patriots for it. They lost a first-round pick. He got fined $250,000. His team got fined. Absolutely. But I don't think it's the Hall of Fame's place to then selectively. I just don't think that's it. A lot of people keep mentioning this. Well, what does that mean for Brady? I don't think it means anything for Brady. Brady wasn't the person in charge.
To be fair, though, I think it's a fair question because while you don't care about Deflategate, and that's fine, Tom Brady is basically 100% responsible for the Deflategate. So you can say his gate, his issue, his problem is less than, but if you are a person, and I'm excited to talk to Vahe tomorrow, if you're a person saying, I won't vote Belichick in because he cheated, you better keep that same energy for Tom Brady because Tom Brady, in fact, did cheat. It was a lesser cheating, but cheating.
I'm with you. I think it's different if you were on the team when the cheating happened and the mastermind of the cheating. Something tells me that 22-year-old Tom Brady was not the mastermind behind Spygate. I do not think that your quarterback was in the middle of orchestrating a plan to record other teams' practices and signals. That is the head coach. That is the leadership of it. That is the people who are running it. I don't think that's on Tom. Now, Deflategate, that's a different conversation. Was Brady telling the ball boy to do this or do that? I don't know, maybe. But I kind of feel like, and maybe I'm wrong, I feel like we always used to kind of wink about the cheating. You remember when we used to wink that the headsets wouldn't work at Foxborough? That was like a thing. We used to always joke about that. So much to the fact that the NFL made a rule where if one team's communication doesn't work, then both teams can't use it. We made that because of the Patriots. You remember that? It was kind of the joke. Hey, you better be sure when you go up to Foxborough, I don't know, all of a sudden the headsets don't work. That was kind of like a thing back in the day. We just kind of know they're cheaters. And someone on the text line, you're right. Sure, we made fun of him, but we never thought he didn't deserve the Hall of Fame. Exactly. I mean, the jokes were this. That's what they were. They were jokes. I was never ready to take it that far. I don't care that much about Jordan Hudson. It's funny to me. I don't care. I don't got to deal with her. I mean, I can't imagine being 75 and dating a 25-year-old. Like, that sounds exhausting to me. Like, what do you guys even talk about? Like, how are you guys connecting in any way? I don't get it. But hey, I mean, what does it matter to me? They're two consenting adults. I tell you guys, I don't spend my free time worrying about what you do in your free time. You ain't bothering nobody. You following the law. You're not hurting women or kids. Hey, cool. Do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. Someone said it's perfectly normal for a person to destroy their phone. No, I mean, I think they all were cheating, honestly. I think they all were cheating.
I think there's way more cheating in sports
Tom,
than people
Bill,
know.
100%. That's why I said if you're going to have this stance with cheaters, I don't know how they have a college football Hall of Fame. I don't know how any of them. They have either given out the impermissible benefits or accepted the impermissible benefits at every single turn. There's not one clean person in the College Football Hall of Fame. I think they're all cheaters. I think they're cheaters in all of these things. So that's why I just don't like the selective part of it. I don't like it. If you vote for David Ortiz to be in the Hall of Fame, you got to tell me why you didn't also vote for Manny Ramirez, because they both were on the same team doing the same cheating, if you ask me. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
I mean, come on, guys. What are we doing here?
On your home for Chiefs football, 96.5, The Fan.
Hey, folks, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here. Many men remember their first time. Not that first time. I'm talking about the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined that special moment. And if you're over 50, then the chances are then you've experienced this before. That first time can be frustrating. It can be a little bit embarrassing. But here's the good news. At Heartland Men's Health, that first time can also be the last time. Heartland Men's Health specializes in treating ED when the pills and herbals fail. With a success rate of over 90%, many men see results just after one visit. So your first visit is just $99, which includes a consult, lab work, and if medically advised, you get a test dose. And if it doesn't work right there in the office, then your visit is on the house. So don't let ED define your sex life. Call my friends at Heartland Men's Health today at 844-447-6600 or check out the website, heartlandmenshealth.com today. You can also stop by and visit any of the 3 area locations, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City. Be sure to stop by Heartland Men's Health.
At Kansas City Proton Institute, we're delivering the future of cancer care with state-of-the-art proton therapy right here in KC. If you have breast, head and neck, or brain cancer, proton therapy may be a better treatment than conventional radiation. Don't wait. Get your second opinion at Kansas City Proton Institute. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced proton therapy team. Learn more at kcpi.com. Kansas City Proton Institute, where you see the best in KC.
Well, it's the last call for football on FanDuel. One final Sunday, one final kickoff, your final chance to place your bets before the NFL season closes its tab. This is the 60th Super Bowl, and FanDuel is making sure that you're in on it. If you're a new customer, bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if you win. So whether you're backing the favorite, maybe you're riding with the underdog, or you're building that last same-game parlay. So whether you're betting the spread, who's going to win MVP, or who you think's going to find the end zone, FanDuel's got you covered for this year's Super Bowl. Make it count, because after the Super Bowl, it's done. Finito. So it's your last call for football this season on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. And visit FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel Sportsbook, America's #1 sportsbook and the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued, non-withdrawal bonus. Like 7th Street. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
DQ presents the Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy, bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ soft serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into soft serve. Plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's the limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy, tastes good. Participation may vary.
Hey, Mom. It's me. Oh my gosh, you'll never believe what I just opened for Valentine's Day. A sapphire ring from Helzberg, just like the one I lost years ago. Remember how excited I was when you gave it to me? I cannot believe you remembered that story. I guess you were right. I really found the one.
This Valentine's Day, create a moment that means something with up to 40% off gifts at Helzberg. Shop in store or at helzberg.com.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Chiefs coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Who knew a Halloween costume would change my life and lead me to Renner Garage Door? Renner's KC's go-to team for service, repair, and replacement.
RENNER, RENNER.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500.
Mike's got this. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
This one brought to you by Conley Plumbing Solutions, Independence. That crash is still there, 435 southbound before 24 highway. Is the right lane blocked, and you're heavy on the northbound side as well. Downtown, that stall block in the left lane, 670 westbound, just past 35. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
The only place in town to hear the hypothetical button game is on The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
All right, I have to tell you guys this. So I watched the first episode of The Pit yesterday. Everybody's been kind of talking about it, and I just determined I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna give it a chance. I don't really know if it's for me, but I'm intrigued. Like, I've never really seen a show like this before, but there's something about it that's like, I'm curious how this story could develop. Like, is this it? Is this just every episode of it? Like, they're just in the same place the whole time? That's all there is? That's it? I don't know. That first episode, I don't know. I can't explain it. I am curious. I'm going to give it at least 3 episodes. I think you got to watch a show for 3 episodes to determine on whether or not the show is for you. Unless you're just instantly turned off. The only show that happened for me for was Dexter. I watched that first episode of Dexter, and I was like, this is just, I can't do it. This is not for me. Yeah, I think you got to give a show. So I did watch the first episode yesterday, Rob, and I'm here to say I am undecided if I like The Pit or not. But I am intrigued enough to continue on, at least give it 2 more episodes. I will watch another one today.
Here's my understanding of the show. And I'm not even going to try the show, not because I don't think it's good, just, that sort of hospital gratuitous stuff is just not for me. Like, I don't do well with, like, blood and guts type of stuff. But my understanding of the show is each episode of the season is 1 hour at the hospital.
Correct.
Or is it one shift?
1 hour of the day.
So it's the whole first season is 1 day at this Pittsburgh hospital. Like, so basically you're 1 episode in. You saw the first hour of the morning.
Guy just clocked in. A lot has already happened that first hour of the day. A lot has already happened. And day 1, I'm like, oh, man, hold on. Guy wanted to jump off the roof. I'm like, oh, my goodness, we just started. This is 5 minutes into the show. So, yeah, I'm open to giving it a chance.
I am currently trying to finish out His and Hers. I am really enjoying that show.
You shouldn't have said that. You know now somebody's going to spoil it for you.
I closed the text line back here a while back.
I hope not. I hate to tell people shows, because one time, I'll never forget. This is why maybe this was just like a couple things. But when I was watching Game of Thrones the first time, and I was like kind of tweeting through my experiences, people were just...
Were you behind at that time?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was trying to catch up for the last season.
Okay.
And people were going out of their way, I think, to try to spoil the show for me. I'm like, why? Like, what have I done to you? Because I cheer for Missouri. Now you just want to spoil the television. It was real weird energy. And I just kind of still hold that with me, that I try not to tell you guys in real time when I'm watching a show.
That's fair. I feel like if someone on the text line is like, oh, I'm going to spoil the last...
I would just block you. I'm sorry. I would just block
like, what are you doing?
I just block you. And I don't block people for much. I give you guys the rules. But if I said I was watching a show and then you purposely spoil on the text line, I'm just going to block you. Like, what are we doing?
Like for the Game of Thrones analogy, if you were like, I've started Game of Thrones, and someone texted in, here's what happens at the Red Wedding. Yeah, block that person.
Yeah. I didn't know anything about the Red Wedding before I watched it. I had absolutely no clue.
Top 5 most surprising moment in television. If you didn't know it was coming.
My heart was racing at the end of it like it was a sporting event. I've never just been so fired up at the end of watching a show. I just could not believe what I was watching. And then, you like these characters and just out of nowhere, wham. I'm letting the show cook. I'm letting, what's this new one? I don't even know the name of it. The spinoff. One of the spinoffs they have. I'm just going to let it cook.
I haven't even started
I'm going to just let it finish, and I'll watch all 8 episodes in a weekend. We'll have some time where are we going to watch the Royals on a Tuesday or?
I mean, we're gonna have some time in February. I mean,
oh, for sure,
like some real time. What are we gonna do?
I might be done watching Missouri basketball for the year.
What
Should
we
I
gonna do?
Continue watching them?
And you're the fan.
When's the last time you watched Mizzou?
Start to finish?
Kansas,
yeah.
Is that it? Only time?
No, I watched bits and pieces of games. Like, I see people in the timeline be like, oh, Mizzou's playing. I'm like, I should check it out. It's my job. And then I'm like, this is bad. That LSU game really affected my ability to keep watching them.
I completely get it.
I didn't watch a minute last night. That G League kid, Cook.
I didn't watch it either. I went to a high school basketball game.
Oh, that's fair.
And then by the time I left the high school basketball game,
Missouri game was over.
Missouri was down 13. I was like, I already know. I went to see my friend's son, one of my really good friends. His son plays, and I try to go to at least 2 or 3 games a year. So I went to one yesterday, and that was I did that. I went home. I ate. I watched a little bit of television. I watched the Pit and went to sleep. That's was
probably better for your mental.
The Pit was worse for my mental than the basketball game was. They thumped those boys that I went to. Someone said, are you picking Kansas or BYU on Saturday? You know what? I actually don't ever have to give you guys a prediction on that because I'm not going to be here on Friday. So I'm not going to. No, I don't need to. I don't want to give you a prediction. One way or the other.
Don't worry. Monday's show, that's the lead. What else are we going to talk about?
Getting you ready for Super Bowl 60.
The 2 teams that this city doesn't like.
Get you ready for Super Bowl 60. That's what I plan on doing. All right. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you. I hope you know that I appreciate you. We will be back tomorrow. Take care of yourself. It's The Drive.